Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
The day I met Bullhorn Betty and Jonathan Lee Ridges, they were protesting in front of the Laundries home. I began to document them, and little did I know, the three of us would spend the next few months traveling together. Nothing scares us, even if it means crossing a freezing cold river and getting wet. We put our lives in danger because we want to find answers. It gives us purpose, even if it means going undercover to get those answers, or visiting the scene of a crime and paying our respects. Searching for the truth isn't easy. It gets you out of your comfort zone and makes you see things in a different perspective. And it's this perspective that we want the world to see. At the end of the day, we fight for justice. We fight for those who don't have a voice. We fight for those who were silenced. Our next case, we search for Paula Miranda. She was last seen swimming in this river. Here's our Paula's family. Found 2 footprints they believe belonged to her. She left her phone and keys in her car. Her sister tells us that's extremely unusual for her to do that. Stay tuned as we venture deep into Wekiwa Springs State Park to help find her.
This, but let me put this out here. Stop Stop sparing folks. Hello, somebody. Stop sparing folks. Nobody cared when your feelings was hurt. Nobody cared when you was pacing the floor. Nobody cared when you was sliding down the wall. Nobody cared when you was standing over there with a face full of tears. You had to suck it up, buttercup. But then when it come to other folk feelings, here you are. Want to tiptoe around it. Want to avoid the elephant in the room. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to disturb the peace. Stop sparing folk. Ain't nobody spare you when it was your turn. Give it to them real. Give it to them raw. Give it to them uncut and uncensored. This is exactly what it is. This where you had me messed up at. Huh. Yeah. I ain't playing with nobody this season, baby.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Good morning, YouTube. Happy Friday, TGIF. Thank you all for coming here. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I'm sure many of you guys already know about the case of Kiely Rodni. And we are just, every time we think something is going to go right, it just seems like an ultimate failure. And this is no different. This case, I've got to be honest with you guys. Duty Ron is the inspiration for this live today because I got to hear perspective of law enforcement agents, you know, and not just law enforcement agents, but one that deals with forensics. You know, I back the blue. I think many people here back the blue. But at what point do we kind of say, what? What? So, you know, Kiely Rodni disappeared on August 6th. And we're going to talk about Doug's interview as well. You guys know Doug talked about this case again. I think it was on Zav Girl's panel yesterday. And I have to say, some of the stuff he said was alarming. And we're going to have to look at this a little deeper and a little bit closer. I can guarantee that. But there are a few things that I think were epic failures. And I think we can all agree with this. The car itself. You know, we tried to give law enforcement literally the benefit of the doubt. Okay, you don't use the equipment. Okay, you don't use this stuff every day. Adventures with Purpose, we were watching them every single couple weeks. They're out, you know, looking for stuff. They're using this stuff all the time. And okay. So with all the law enforcement and the 20,000, you know, hours from multiple agencies that were put into this case, you know, there was an advanced sonar and dive team. But you know, we'll give you guys that you guys haven't used the equipment. Okay, we'll give you guys that. Okay, some people called BS. I was advocating for them. I'm like, come on, you know, we even heard Ventures with Purpose, and now I'm kind of feeling like Ventures with Purpose was also trying to give them a free pass. You know, just they're working with law enforcement. They don't want to feel cocky around law enforcement because they want to help people and they want law enforcement to utilize them as a tool. You know, because they are a valuable tool. And this is a prime example, you know, but YouTubers get a bad rap, right? YouTubers get a bad rap. There are a few horrible YouTubers out there. I can agree with that. No naming names in the chat. We're not going to be disrespectful this morning. No, nothing like that. But there are some people that just it does give stings to high heaven for YouTube. But for the majority, I think people really are trying to help. But we have these advanced law enforcement teams that are getting millions of dollars of taxpayer money to do services, especially when we have we rely on law enforcement when we have problems and when we're missing our loved ones or we have murdered loved ones or anything in between. We call law enforcement for help. So this to me just feels like this big old black eye on law enforcement. I mean, it's kind of hard not to think, like, what the heck is going on here? We have, the whole car situation. Like, how could you not see it? We could see it on the drone footage. When the drone went over, we could clearly see that car down there. That Check It TV just recently came out, new to YouTube, and we touched on it yesterday when we were talking about Harmony Montgomery, about how much of an insult to injury it is to one, lose your child, the child be gone for, weeks, with all these law enforcement agencies around here looking for them in the water, right where she was, and couldn't find her. You have a team like Adventures with Purpose, some YouTubers come in and, within 30 minutes of putting boats in the area that she was last seen in and find her. Then we see photos of tire tracks, like literally leading off the bank into the water. Like, where's the investigative team? And then now we have this brand new YouTuber that hasn't even gotten his feet wet on the streets of YouTube, finding evidence washing up on shore from the recovery of this car. Now, mind you, they damaged this car coming up, which was, I'm sure forensically not a good thing. On Duty Ron, they had that forensic guy on there. Like, this is like law enforcement 0, YouTubers 2. If you really want to start keeping score here, sent you a DM. Okay. Let's see what we got. All right. We got some new photos that were just sent. So let's see if we can go ahead and pull those up. Let's see. Give me just a second, guys. Let me get this stuff downloaded. We'll take a look at some new photos. Thank you, by the way. Let's see what I can use here. We got some new photos, guys, coming in. It was kind of neat. Thank you. Oh, and I also want to show you guys. I'm going to have to probably crop the photo, but we'll do it while you're here. People are alleging that Kiely might have actually been pregnant. I'm not sure how I feel about that whole statement yet. I really am not. Is it possible? Yeah, I believe it is possible, but you know, I don't know. Yeah, I saw that there. So, yeah, this is kind of hard. I want to talk to you. Oh boy. Okay, let's see what we got. You're amazing. I'm new to you. The last few days, you make so much sense. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, it's just I'm looking at this stuff, you know, things just pop. I don't know. Some things don't though, you know, in the grand scheme of things, some things really don't pop for me. Uh-oh. Let's see. I don't know if these downloaded right. Oh shoot. I don't think they downloaded right. Murloc, well, I guess it doesn't really matter because you already told people, but I don't want people to see your username on here. Is there any way you can, Is there any way you can send those to me by email, Murloc, so I can download them properly? They're not downloading right for some reason. Oh, well, maybe they are. Let's see here. Yeah, they're not downloading right for some reason. I don't know why from here. Let's see if I can do something else. Hold on a second. I just don't I don't want to give all your information away and stuff like that, but I want to show this stuff. Oh, there. I know how to do it. Nope, it's not doing it right. Yeah, is there any way you can send it to me? Sorry, I'm not even looking at the chat. Anyways, we got some new stuff. So just to let you guys know what I'm looking at, there's a text in here that says Jagger's not responding to any new direct messages or tags until the autopsy is publicly released. Sorry if this affects any of you. He seems like such a nice kid. It's so hard for me to just think the worst of this kid. I don't know why. I just never, I don't know. But I have to tell you, I've been working a lot. There's stuff coming out. Like this is a lot. I don't know if you guys can see that how thick these papers are. They're about quarter inch. I don't want to show you what they are yet, but these are some people that I've got to look into. And so there's stuff coming out, guys. There is stuff coming out. We're finding clever and unique ways to locate people. And I worked probably about 4 hours on a website to try to, well, I can't really tell you because it'll unearth my stuff for right now, because I've got to go through every single one of these people, but we will start rolling some names out here shortly. So you guys need to, if you haven't already, like, share, or subscribe to this channel, please do so, because I'm digging in deep. And this is just for me. This is not even including, you know, the work that Chronicles of Olivia is doing, the work that, you know, Ryan's doing, the work that all these other creators are doing out there, JLR, you know, so we are digging deep. So just stay with us. The stuff is coming out. Murloc, I didn't see if you wrote back, but did you send me that stuff by email? I'm trying to go up in the chat to see. Give me a minute. Okay. Let me see if I've got that. bullhornbetty@gmail.com would probably be the best. And I've got some other photos that have come in. Maybe more. I think that's about it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this until we start getting some new photos. I'll stop people as they come in. Up at the top of the chat, there should be in the process right now. Thank you. Up at the top. Well, he's been doing some work. You guys know when the man kind of goes silent, there's something brouhaha. So I'm pretty sure when he does make his debut back on YouTube, I'm pretty sure that it will be it will be what, you know, I'm sure you guys are going to want to go subscribe to his channel, because I'm sure it's nothing but epic. JLR, just I don't know. At Bullhorn, but hold on a second. What does it say? Off topic. How's JR? Can you share if you have spoken to him? Oh, he's fine. He's been traveling. Many of you guys know that he was in Wisconsin. You know, I don't know what he's up to today, but I'm pretty sure he's traveling. He's been traveling. I'll leave it at that. Oh, thank you, Ricky. I appreciate it. And by the ways, guys, good morning to everybody. I don't know if I said good morning because we have so much going on right now. And I'm just still, I'm still a little uneasy. Let me ask you guys this. By a show of ones, how many people think that law enforcement has completely botched this case? From finding the car to the recovery of the car. I mean, that really is the evidence of this case right now, especially with a lot of kids, clamming up and parents telling their children not to get involved and stuff like that. I mean, this to me is just a black eye on law enforcement. And some people say that they feel like this is a cover up because I think out the gate, we were talking about this woo and everybody was so concerned that this would be a cover up just because of the stuff that they were finding on an internal basis at that in that Navada County Sheriff's Department. And so that really does come into play here. I think that's kind of, it makes it uneasy in everybody's mind about this. It's like, how can, people are hearing that the sheriff's kids were out at the party. Could they have been responsible? I don't know. But this is kind of starting. And not only that, let me ask you this, guys. Let me ask you this. So with all the stuff going on, okay, we have now, they didn't find the car. Okay. So Adventures with Purpose went out there. Adventures with Purpose found the car, and as Judy Ron explained it, they gift wrapped this car and Kiely to law enforcement. Like they gift wrapped it. And then law enforcement, they wanted to do their own extraction, probably for forensic purposes. And they completely screwed it up. Like, why, if they knew that the windows were open, somebody there had to have consciously thought that this stuff would suck out the windows. I mean, thank you so much. I appreciate all the love and support. But think about it. They have to know how to extract. This could not have been their first rodeo extracting stuff out of the water. Why in the world would they have left the windows open? They had their divers down there. They saw where Kiely was in the car. You would think out of an abundance of caution, they would collect everything because it's not law enforcement's duty to decide what is considered evidence or not. That is for the lab and the forensics aspect of it to either prove or disprove something as being evidence, in my opinion. Does people agree with that or like throw a 1 in there if you agree with that? Like, it shouldn't be law enforcement. They should be collecting everything. And we discussed this in Gabby Petito's case because we were so shocked that we found Gabby Petito's water bottle in their search area along with other bones, and they just left it there. Some detective or, sheriff deputy just made the decision. They didn't think it was relevant and left it. That's not their decision. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, let's open this back up. If you guys have it, mods, please go ahead and just constantly be posting this as people come in. But I want to know your thoughts on this. Like, what are your thoughts? Would you guys, let me ask you this. Would you guys prefer me opening up the phone lines? If you guys don't like blow it up because it's got call waiting, we can't disable. If you would prefer a phone line as opposed to the StreamYard link, press 1 and I'll open up the phone lines. I'll go over here. I bet y'all get a quicker answer. StreamYard doesn't. Let's see what we got here. 1. Okay, I'll open up the phone lines. Give me just a second. Okay, well, I just heard somebody pop into the back chat. Hold on just a second. Let me see who it is. All right, Amy, I'm going to bring you forward. You can go ahead and turn your camera off. Amy, you want your camera on or off? Okay, thank you. There you go. Hey, love.
Okay.
So I can hear you. How
this
you
is
doing
why
this
the
morning?
phone is better for me.
Yeah.
I'm getting annoyed with these police, and all these services that people pay taxes towards.
Yeah.
I went on to the Nevada County's Sheriff's Facebook page. They had posted about Kiely, I think yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, updating their status of the investigation. And I just think everybody has to go on there and make a comment that we will not accept anything but a full investigation. That are you planning on reimbursing people for doing your job? Because I think that that the people of that county deserve a refund on their taxes if they're not getting their money's worth in what they pay towards their
That
property
ain't
taxes.
happening. You know as well
But
as
I'm
I do.
just,
That's not happening.
but I feel that way with everything lately. I'm on the same page with what you do
Yeah.
outside of the crime community.
Yeah.
Because there's no transparency. There's they think that we're their little slaves, that we are supposed to pay them for doing nothing, and they have no accountability. It's like they're the only job where people can goof off and not do their job and still stay hired. But you could not get away with that in the private sector. They
Oh
expect
no!
work.
Oh, are you kidding me? The bureaucracy in this country, yeah, that's and some of the stuff you don't even have to worry about the politicians anymore. It's the bureaucrats. But you're a mom of a child that's in and around. We won't say her age.
She's a little younger than this girl.
Right. How would you feel? I mean, I can't. We don't even want to think about the idea of what Kiely's parents are going through right now. I get it. But how would you feel if you were set with this issue where you were out there almost every day watching law enforcement search for your daughter, not find it, and some YouTubers come in and find her, and then they kick the YouTubers off, won't let them extract the car, and all her stuff is flying out the windows, and now, days later, washing up on shore?
I would be ticked.
As a mom.
I would be ticked. I would be like, this is the reason why I let my daughter listen to these cases, to hear what's going on with everything. She knows about Kiely Rodni. She knows about all the little things. And the thing I could tell you is that because and she was always very cautious about herself and her body when she was younger. Like when she was like a little 5-year-old and she saw like a baby climbing on something, and she'd point, mommy, baby's going to get hurt or something. Like she sees things, she talks to me, and I would hopefully have that communication with her. Like, if she's going to go to a party, and I even talked to her about the drugs and doing things. She can't even stand the smell of cigarettes. I'm telling you.
It's I'm hearing. I just seen a post from Anissa that says, "Please be respectful with your comments and questions to Dolly. Is Dolly in here? Panel guest and chat. You may be timed out. Thanks for understanding."
I don't know.
Yeah, if he is, if you want to grab a link, you can. But
that's all I could say.
You can say what you mean what you say, but you don't have to say it mean. We don't attack creators here. We just want it to be a free flowing thought process. Everybody is entitled to their opinions, and you should let people have their opinions. Okay, sorry.
But can I say something really fast? I was very upset with my daughter's first day of school. They go in there. This is what's going on. And they have a big thing about talking. Well, I don't know who was saying it, because, we all know that you'll be doing drugs. And like, these schools come in with this lecture that they're expecting these kids to be doing drugs and doing jewels and doing whatever crap they're doing. I'm like, and I said to my daughter, says, you know what, they should be teaching you that it's dangerous, because you don't know what you can get in any kind of drug, that you can die. And I told her that. I said, I have to, and I have no choice to send her to these public government schools. I'm not happy with it, but I think that a lot of these schools are sending a wrong message to these kids about partying. They're expecting the worst from these kids. They're giving the lectures. We expect the worst from you instead of the best from you in your behavior. And you shouldn't do this, because you have a chance at life that you should not give up and risk yourself by doing these things. And I'm very disappointed with the liberal kind of viewpoint of what they're putting out to these kids. And I told my daughter I would not, and she goes, if I ever tried it, I said, you can tell me, but that I will be very upset with you doing that to your body, because you have to respect yourself
You gotta respect your
and your
body.
health.
And kids by nature are going to be curious, in my opinion. Kids by nature are going to be very curious. You know, it's a process we all go through as we grow up. Some people survive, you know, and some people don't. I mean, at the end of the day.
True, but we all, right.
But
But I
my
also,
question, go
go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry. No,
No, go
what I
ahead,
always
Amy.
say to the kids as a nurse, I always say to the kids, when I'm changing my path right now, I'm going to start another position. But when I was doing school nursing, I said to the kids, I said, you're given one body that you know, you're not going to get another chance at another body. That you know, you treat it well, because that's the only thing that you have is your health. And that you may not have another chance with your body that you have, and it's functioning well, and you don't want to hurt yourself, and you want to have a good life. And
But I
that's
was
what I
told that
tell
when I
them.
was younger too. And you know what? I didn't listen myself. And you know, I'm turning 43, and I'm telling you, I feel it. I feel my childhood, my rough childhood, you know, rearing its ugly head in my 40s.
Oh, I know, but I'm just trying to do the right, tell my daughter, and I don't really suggest parents even tell their kids what they did, because
Yeah.
I just think it's personal, that we don't need to share those things with our children, you know, that we've done certain things. I just think that we have to go by what they're feeling and what their concerns are. And I just think that it's a shame. And I think we all should go to the Facebook page on Nevada County and say that we're not accepting what they're doing and their lack of doing what their job and what the taxpayers are paying for. And it's
Yeah.
absolutely
It's just,
egregious.
you know, it's like I think we all kind of were upset with them over the car. But we gave them the pass. You know, we gave them, okay, maybe you weren't, maybe for whatever reason, you guys just don't use the technology. You misread it. You know, I think Adventures with Purpose handled themselves professionally. They gave them the out that they needed. You know what I'm saying? Like they kind of
Right.
help cover, you know, say, but at the end of the day, even Adventures with Purpose, I think later came out and at some point said, you know, it's really difficult for me to really see how they could have screwed this up this bad. But, you know, they didn't say those words. I mean, they've been very, very respectful to everyone, from law enforcement to, you know, the all the public stuff between them and, you know, Ryan Upchurch. It seems like they're, you know, it just seemed like there was a lot going on there, and they just handled themselves very professionally in my personal opinion.
That's true. You know, you praise in public, you criticize in private, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I really think that that people should be dissatisfied with their services, and that these parents that are covering up. Well, when it happens to your kid, I don't want to hear you complain now. You know,
Yeah.
if and when it happens.
It'll never
So,
happen. You remember, everybody doesn't think anything will happen to them until it does.
absolutely. So, all right, let's let somebody else go on. Nice
All
talking to
right,
you.
Amy, thank
Have
you
a
so
nice
much.
weekend. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
absolutely.
Bye bye.
Okay, so let me get back over here. I'm looking at, think I got the new photos, but for right now, Tiffany, would you show me your face, and I'll go ahead and bring you up here. Before we do, Annette, thank you so much. I believe LE has been very sloppy. Thank you, Tiffany. Has been very sloppy, big time here. Good evening from Western Australia. Thank you so much for joining. I love hearing people from around the world are watching. Tiffany, thank you for being here. Nice to meet you. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Ohio. I was actually on your last video with Ryan.
Okay.
So I've been watching, I don't know, you guys all probably seen it because now it's like going all over YouTube. So Check It TV has been diving in the water, and he's been pulling her items out, and he has contact with grandpa, and there's been a girl there for 2 days, one of her friends. And so he made another video last night or 6 hours ago and said that he dived again, and there was another girl there again, and she recorded his videos for her.
Yeah.
And so he contacted law enforcement, and they did not want the items.
I know. That's what happened to Gabby Petito. We literally had to wrestle with law enforcement to take her water bottle. Now, granted, we don't know, we didn't know what evidentiary value it had, if any, but it's not the point. The point is this was a high profile case, and every piece of anything belonging to them should be collected.
Exactly. And they dropped the ball, and they are going to do that over and over again, because at the end of the day, it's not their family. So they could really care less. They're there for their paychecks.
Yeah, some of them are. Some of them aren't. You know, some of the stuff they have to see is not worth the paycheck, in my opinion. But you know, to each their own. I still think that no matter how we look at this is very, very sloppy. And now it makes us question why, especially with all the rumors talking about Nevada Sheriff's Office already. But prior, you know, when this case started going off and then being uncomfortable with Nevada County Sheriff being involved in this because of the stuff that's going on at, you know, the uneasy,
The corruption.
yes, but I don't want to say that because I don't know if it's considered corruption or if it's, you know, I guess corruption is covering their own asses. But that seems to me what they're doing over there. I don't get it. I don't know. We heard that before Kiely was even found, and now that she's found, and we're hearing all this stuff is going on, and we're looking at it. It's like, this is sloppy, guys. Like right when we think you can't be any more sloppy, boom, here we go again. It's at the detriment of the case. It's at the detriment of the people that love her, that are having this wound ripped wide open again because this stuff is publicly washing ashore. I just think it's embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing, and it's embarrassing too. Like I would, if I lived in there, like where they live, I would feel very uneasy. I'd be so uncomfortable knowing that the sheriff was like, they kind of covered up for him with everything. I don't even know if I could say it on here, but I'm sure you know, they covered everything up for him when he was with like underage kids.
Yeah, I heard about it, and that came out early in this case, and why people didn't want Nevada County taking over this case. Well, it's in their jurisdiction, and now they're taking over this case, and we're seeing now. And what's upsetting me is that we hear the FBI was on scene here when they were pulling this car up. Like, how in the world can the FBI allow this kind of ball to be dropped under their watch?
Well, you would think that they would have more common sense to know, like, or even send their divers back down and say, hey, go back down there and see if there's anything that came out, knowing that them windows were broke, and they should have never took AWP off the scene because they use nets. I was watching Zav Girls, and they were on there with, I think, was that the one with the long beard? I can't remember his name.
His name's Doug Bishop.
Okay. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to mess it up.
No worries.
So yeah, he said that they used nets on there, and so they should have never pushed them off scene, or maybe they wanted to make their self look like they had found everything. But I'm sure the parents knew that it was AWP, and then how the mother came back and kind of lashed out on them wasn't right. But I'm sure it has a lot to do with everybody saying, like, you know, she wasn't real and all of the rumors, and now everybody's changing their stories about it. Because personally, as a mother, if it was my child and if I was in that position, I'd be pretty pissed off, and I'd be filing lawsuits.
I'd be angry. I mean, I can't. I'm a person that's watching this, and I'm kind of emotional with this case because I kind of, you know, gave everybody the benefit of the doubt, which I never do. I think it was from my own prejudice, you know, from being a kid and having to deal with this with my own friends, and you know, it kind of pulled at me, and I know going into this I was going to be more biased than I usually am, biased on the side of giving the kids the benefit of the doubt because, again, my past experience. And I had this whole thing out the gate wrong. I wasn't looking at red flags in front of me. I wasn't looking at all this. And how does it make you feel now that we're kind of at this point and we find out that out of all those children out there at this party, we are only hearing about one that has publicly come out and said they have a criminal defense attorney, and that happens to be Sammy Smith. How does that make you feel?
Hey, Betty, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Let me see if I can hear you because there was a call coming in. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Let me try to get you back. Can you still hear me? Okay. Yes, there was a call and it kind of cut you out there.
Okay. Did you get the gist of my question? My question was, out of all the kids out at that party, there's only one child that publicly came out and said they got a criminal defense attorney, and that person was Sammy Smith. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like she could be guilty, but let me say something else. I was watching and I found out, okay, so I'm sure, hold on, let me get the guy's name. Nathaniel?
Yep.
Okay, so but there was videos of her and that guy Nathaniel, and that day when they were searching, it was her, Nathaniel, and Jagger. And in one video, he does have the same kind of hat, and he has a case for another 15-year-old girl, and he's on murder charges right now from selling her fentanyl.
Yeah.
I feel like
I broke that.
she made it
I
new.
broke that on this channel. I broke Nate C on this channel. Nobody
See?
else, I mean, there was a few things on Twitter about him, but nobody publicly came out and put his information in his court record up. I have it. I still have it up right here.
See, and and see, I think I even put it up the one day and somebody said, or I commented on someone's stuff and they're like, well, how do you know this? And
Yeah, and we don't know if that was the same Nate that was dating Kiely, but there was a connection with a Nate. A Nate was dating Kiely that had previously, from what I gathered, had previously dated Sammy Smith, and everybody was talking about it and assumed that it could be Jagger. You know, out the gate, they just assumed it was Jagger because that was the person that Kate had, or Kiely had, dated for the longest. But then we find out from Kate through a text message from someone that Kiely, in fact, did date a Nate, and that she had recently broke up with that Nate.
See, yes, and she kept emphasizing. She's like, yeah, she was living the single life, but what a coincidence, okay? Because I'm pretty sure, to me, I would think it's the same Nate because out of all the people in the world, had two friends, and how are they going to know two different Nates? I mean, it's kind of.
And believe it or not, we've uncovered about I think a total of four or five Nates in their circle so far. So it is possible that there is another Nate out there. Maybe not somebody, the 4 or 5 Nates may just be acquaintances or associates, and maybe only a couple of those might be actual friends of theirs in their circle. But there's definitely several Nates in this this whole saga. What their relevance are, I don't know.
I feel like she knew, and I feel like she was trying to cover up whether it be for him, because, whether she dated the same guy or they were just friends. Sometimes people tend to cover up stuff, especially when she kept saying we drink from the same, every cup was the same. Every drink that we drink from was the same. And because, even up this way, people are lacing marijuana with fentanyl. My cousin's best friend died from a fentanyl overdose in marijuana. So they're lacing it. And I feel like she kept I don't even know the right words right now, but she kept putting it out there like we did this, and we did this together, to make it seem like she was there with her 24/7. They drink out the same cup, and there's no way, no how that she could have been laced with anything. She couldn't have been drugged, nothing. But maybe she knew. Maybe she was part of it. And that one picture, in the one picture, I know they said people were leaving, and that one picture where the crowd is standing and down to the left of the picture, you see the lights. Who knows if that day, they seen that water going, they seen that car going to the water, and that's what them lights were from. Who knows? Right. Or it was heading towards the water.
Yeah, and we found somebody that said something to the effect of, I watched her go under, like just eerie, creepy crap that goes on the internet that people think is so freaking funny, and to me, it's not funny. But anyways, Tiffany, thank you so much for calling in, and I'm gonna go ahead. I got one more person behind the chat, and then we're gonna look at some new photos that were just released.
I'll be here. Thank you so much, Miss Betty, for having me on.
Ricky, before I bring you up, let me read some things here. So Buzz Anderson says, I'm horrified of Ellie's abuse of Kiely's corpse. She was thrown around when Ellie flipped the car, taken on dirt roads, over potholes, on the truck. Some part of her may be, oh my gosh, I don't even want to think about that. That is horrible. That's a horrible. I wish I would have read that. I didn't even see it up on there. That's horrible. That's a horrible thought, but you could very well be right. And then there was another one here. Let me find it. I saw it come in. Here we go. Oops, there we go. Summer Breeze says, living lake time has broken down how corrupt Truckee is. You have to check it out. Explain why cops are so sloppy. Very interesting. And let me write that down because, I'm interested in all these perspectives because, again, I know that I have a bias with this case because of the age of these kids. I know that. I know that, and I'm trying to work through it. So I'm actually doing the work. I'm trying to keep my bias out of it and look at the relevant facts. And that's what led me to all this paperwork here that I have to now vet. So it is living lake time. Got it. I'll review it. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow because, I want to go down this whole thing because this is starting to become For me personally, like, how can you make so many darn mistakes? But hey, I'm not doing the job, so I don't know how personally those mistakes happen. Okay, Ricky Rose, I'm bringing you in. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been following this case since like I've heard about the first coverage of it. So,
Hmm.
and like a lot of people wasn't making no sense in the beginning. Then I came across you, Dolly, and Ryan talking about it. And I'm like, you know what? All these people with the collective ideas are bringing this case to closure.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, it's all about justice for Kiely, regardless of who gets, lawsuits, whatever. It's
Hmm.
about Kiely.
Yeah.
We're all starting to lose focus of what's really going on, and you guys really keep the focus where it belongs.
Yeah.
So, and I just want to praise you guys. You guys got me thinking that I want to start my own YouTube channel just so I can bring awareness to things that's going on in my local area,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of things that don't make sense, and you guys are awesome. I just wanted to say big shout out.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure everybody appreciates that. There's a lot of people out there that are really working hard trying to just find something. At the end of the day, everybody always is saying, leave it to law enforcement, leave it to law enforcement. They know it. And we always try to fight back and say, they can't do it all. They're human beings. They're going to make mistakes, but this is almost, it's not feeling like mistakes anymore. It's almost feeling to me a little intentional, and I don't want to feel that way, and I don't want to think that way, because I back the blue, and it goes against every fiber of everything that I believe in, when it comes to law enforcement. But it's hard not to feel it, and I'm feeling it.
Well, see, as a parent though, it makes us all like, just so passionate, like how can anybody want to cover this up regardless of the outcome of what their child might have done or been or seen, whatever? They are a parent at the end of the day. They wouldn't want it to happen to their child. We're all parents, we want to know answers. We could care less about the what happened, accept your fate because you chose to do what you've done. You
Right.
know, like man
I mean,
up.
you guys heard. I mean, it's not easy for my mom. Mama Bullhorn was on here yesterday, and she told about something. I mean, I forgot, because I went through a lot. I mean, there's a lot of my past I literally don't remember, and she was telling a story of something that happened when I was a teenager that I completely forgot about. I mean, I remember vaguely certain details, but for the most better part, forgot about. And she talks about how she took me up to the sheriff's department. She held me accountable. That's what parenting is doing. It's being a real parent, making your kids accountable. Because let's face it, with everything that I walked through, my lifestyle when I was 20, I almost died several times. And to be where I am today, living the life that I'm living, it took those tough decisions. Maybe maybe it didn't help me then, but it planted that seed for me for when I became an adult and got past all the nonsense in my life, and got myself situated. The seed was planted way back when. It just didn't bloom until much later.
Absolutely. Like you got to lead by example. Your kids are an image of you, like how you are, and it says a lot about these parents out there that's making their kids stay hush. That means
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't fathom that, especially when their child was out there. Like, this could have been their child. Like, how can you tell? Like, this was so close to touching your family, and now you're telling your children don't get involved. Like, I just it breaks my heart.
like I cried over some of the things, and I don't cry, you know,
Mhm.
but this is very emotional. It's like, how can you know all this information and not give it up?
Yeah.
Like, come on, this is a kid involved here,
I
or
mean,
it
we're
doesn't matter
not
who it
talking
is.
about, in no disrespect to homeless people, but let's face it, like, people, older alcoholic, drug addicts, Skid Row, homeless people, get this type, in my opinion, this type of treatment. Like, I don't see how this is happening, and it's not, no disrespect, but at the end of the day, law enforcement does treat the Skid Row homeless person a lot different than the regular Joe. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they just throw them in the ground and call it a day. But this is a loving child that had a bright future, has many people that loved her.
Mhm.
How could anybody knowingly in their heart just be so vile? Like,
Yeah. And
why?
just not think, and just not like who wouldn't have thought what was going through their mind not to go and collect anything left on the bottom of that floor with as big of a case as this is, and they know it. They know how much this case has exploded. This has taken on a case on YouTube and social media, in regular mainstream media. This case is huge. How could they make such an epic failure? It just, that's where I'm struggling with. It just seems intentional.
It's all purposely overlooked. They don't want all this attention because right now they're dealing with the wildfires and this and that, whatever. Screw the wildfires.
Yeah.
This is a child.
Yeah.
Regardless, houses can be rebuilt. This life can't be brought back.
Right.
Like it just makes no sense how they can be so.
Yeah,
terrible.
and think about the damage to the family. This was right before her birthday. I mean, her family every single year, everything's going to be so painful for them. It's going to be painful for the rest of their life. There's no, you don't get over something like this. This is not something you grieve yourself out of.
Like, especially
exists.
birthday. Like, I mean, now every time they think of her birthday, they're going to think this horrible, cover up. Like,
yeah.
How?
But thank God we're not going to allow that to happen. We will not allow it to happen. I mean, we're going to get justice.
With this YouTube community, this reach goes far and out beyond. It's going to pressure them to give us the answers we deserve.
Because we're not mainstream media. We don't work with law enforcement. We keep law enforcement transparent. We're the conscience, in my opinion. In some cases, like there's some horrible YouTubers out there. I should be careful. There's some really crackpots out there. But for the most part, YouTube, people that are responsible, that really want to help these cases, are going to help this case. If we feel in our gut that something is a foul, trust me, we come to the calling. I believe that we come to the calling.
Well, I also believe that the people that's out here spreading rumors and everything on YouTube, they're still bringing light to the case.
Yep, absolutely.
And watching their channel is going to be like, well, this don't make no sense. Let me watch this channel that's related, and they're going to find the answers too. Yeah. So even positive or negative, comments, it's all going to lead back to the right answers because they're going to follow up on it if they're that interested in it.
Yeah. And not only that, but this is not by design. This is what we do. Some people do videos, some people do documentaries, others do talk shows, others do a commentary. We keep it out there. I really do. And we never give up because with mainstream media, it's like one and done. They'll do a story about it. When it heats up and it can give them money and give them ratings, then they'll cover it again. Us YouTubers stick with the case from the beginning to the end.
Well, see, and Ryan, with some of the outlandish things he was saying, he brought a lot of things to light by stirring the pot, making them scared.
Yeah, but not only that, but I think he was, I haven't asked him because I haven't talked to him since the one time. Well, I talked to him on Dolly's channel, but it was about my theories and stuff. I haven't had a chance. But now I'm wondering because, he really did force people to go out and dig deep, and not that, but just quickly, like, I know the sleuths were sleuthing, but man, it made the sleuths almost be, sleuth rabbits. They had to work overtime to get this stuff. But look at all the good that came out of that. We got more photos, more videos, and it was because everybody was trying to prove Ryan Upchurch wrong. They were so adamant about, telling him how stupid he was, that they just had to show him. Then boom, we have all this stuff here. And I have to, sometimes we do controversial things to trigger certain actions. I mean, you guys know it. One of the first things when we came out on YouTube is we bring pressure. Pressure breaks pipes. That was the thing. And I'm wondering if he actually, he was very clever. I don't know if he ever thought, I don't know. I'm wondering now if he ever really thought she was not real. I just wonder if this was a reverse psychology op.
That's what it was. And what it is Ryan Upchurch may be from the backwoods and this and that, but he is one of the most smartest, self-made hip-hop artists.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He's very intelligent.
Oh, and you just segued me right into the thing. If you guys haven't seen it, Ryan Upchurch just released a new music video. If you want to watch it, the link is in the description of this show. So go on over there. Don't leave yet. Don't go running over there yet. But when we're done here, why don't you guys go over there and show Ryan Upchurch some love on his new video, and make sure you give him a thumbs up and tell him hi from Bullhorn Betty.
That's the thing. Like, everybody was like, "Oh, he's just doing it for views. He's doing it for the fame." No, Ryan was famous before all this. He's doing this because he wants what's real, what everybody really wants, and that's justice.
Well, I've seen it. I mean, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. You know what I'm saying? And I knew what was what. I didn't think he was crazy. If I really thought the man was crazy and on drugs, trust me, I would come out here and say it. I wouldn't care what consequences I had from it. But I never thought that. I never once thought that about him. I just thought, I didn't know what his angle was, but I just looked at him and I knew he had an angle. I just didn't know what it was. I didn't understand. I really, really was trying to understand, but I don't know. But now it's kind of like, it's the hindsight's 2020. And it's like, this was either the most brilliant mistake he ever made, or he is just a brilliant guy.
He's a mastermind. He is a mastermind, and he's I'm telling you, if you sit back and you think, he's just so smart. Like, he knows what strings to pull, what angles to hit, because he is from the backwoods.
Right.
He's from the corruption, and he's rebuilt his whole community because that's his hometown.
Yeah.
You know, like,
all right, Ricky Rose. Well, I don't mean to keep you, but I got my back studio filling up, and I want to bring up Ricky Beavers.
Well, bless you all, and you all have a wonderful day, and I'm going to sit and continue watching.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ricky. Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye. Ricky, wrong person. Ricky, my main man. How you doing, buddy?
All right. I want to introduce you to Zoe. This is my boxer.
Oh, hi, Zoe. Hi, pretty.
She got attacked by a Rottweiler the other day. I was walking around the subdivision. I had my cane, and praise the Lord, my son and his girlfriend was with me, or that Rottweiler probably would have killed my dog, and I'd have killed that Rottweiler. It'd been bad. But anyway, Betty, I'm gonna start packing the gun with me when I go back around there again. It is what it is. I got to take care of myself and my dog. I don't want to stop walking. I've been walking like 3 or 4 miles a day. You know what I mean?
Good for you.
But hey, let's talk about this girl here, man. I'm gonna tell you my theory, what I really believe in my heart. I don't think the car went into the lake Saturday morning. I think it was a few days later, in my opinion. I will say this. I had one time, Betty, I had a swimming pool. It was a round pool, and I guess it's about 15 feet wide, maybe a little wider, and it held about three feet of water. And I had a big wooden spool I used for a table. You know, I'm a country boy. You know what I mean? So had one of them electric spools. You know, the big electric wire goes.
I remember them. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, leaned on one side and this pool bust, okay? Well, the water was so strong it took and pushed me under the car and pushed that spool all the way against the car.
Oof.
Wooden spool, okay? And the reason I'm saying this, I know they said that that Kiely, the car was upside down and she was in the back hatch, okay? And I visualized this. When pressure of water gets in there, the pressure is so strong. Water can take and push.
Right.
And I'll be honest, at that time, I probably weighed over 200 pounds. And I know she only weighed 115 or 19. She's 5'7". And I want to say this, you know, I visualized her body, as far as how wide from her back to her stomach. It would only be about 4 or 5, 5 to 6 inches wide. You know what I mean? Oh. So I'm going to say that there's good possibility that the strength of the water could have pushed her into the back. Now, I think there's still foul play here? Sure, I do. But I'm just saying that's my theory on that deal. And I listened to her mama talk, and I listened to different interviews that I listened to. That guy that went the tow man went out there, and she was on one side of the car, the guy was on the other side, and he said they wouldn't look at each other, and she'd go to one side and he'd go to the other side. I think she was trying to tell him she needed help, but he didn't catch on to that.
Actually, I've got a theory on that, and I'll bounce that off everybody in the chat here in just a second. Actually, let me write it down so I don't forget it because I get sidetracked, sometimes
And
because
Betty, did you send me your phone number through my email?
I did.
Would you do that one more time, please?
Yeah, I'll get you. Yeah, I've got you in my
Oh.
system. I'll send it again.
Okay, I'm sorry, honey.
That's okay, Ricky. I know it took me a little minute to get there. I forgot about it, and then I was going through my pad. I'm like, oh, I need to send him an email, so I just went ahead and sent it to you. But
Okay.
I'll definitely resend it.
But no, it's a shame about this little girl, and what another thing kind of bothers me too. Every time AWP, they're good, they're awesome, man. You'll never hear me talk bad about those guys. I had a chance to go meet them one time down in Nashville, Tennessee, when I was going to pull cars out of the river down there, and I was going to go down, but I got sick, wasn't able to go. But these people are legit, they're real, and they do need people's support. It takes a lot of money to do what needs to be done. They're, and they have in cold cases, they have took care of about 23, 24 cold cases brought to life and close for the families, and that's a blessing within itself. And another thing bothered me too, when they found the car, then everybody wanted to pull them off the scene, and something I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? They're the one found them. They're good at what they do, and the cops done search for that water for that car and tell them not to go there. The car wasn't there, which I'm gonna be blunt with you. I don't believe the car was there yet either. I think it came later.
Gotcha.
Betty,
But it would be possible. It would be possible with the information we got out, but we have some conflicting statements, and we're going to go over that. So, Ricky, thanks for coming in and chatting with us, and I'm going to move on to the next person in the back chat.
Okay, thank you, Miss Betty. God bless.
Thank you, Ricky. Take care. Bye-bye. So, Nicole, if you want to come back in, you were actually next, but you just popped off. I don't know if it was technical or not. Aussie, if you want to show me your face, I'll bring you up next. Give it a couple seconds. Aussie? Okay, so Aussie, whenever, oh, looks like something's happening. I don't know if she's trying to turn her camera on or what. Okay, Aussie, can you show me your face? All right, Ricky, I'll bring you back up. Hey, Ricky, what Aussie's trying to figure it out.
There's comments in there saying that his light's purple. His light's purple. No, my lights are multicolor.
Yeah.
I like lights. I don't give a darn what anybody.
Everybody's all about the purple lights now. That's funny.
It's bullshit. Look, watch. It's changing colors. I just wanted to put it out there.
We'll give you a pass, Ricky. We'll give you a pass.
Like I said, it's just lights, but you all have I'm still watching.
Right, take care.
See ya.
All right, Aussie, I'll bring you forward. How are you doing?
I'm really good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well.
Yeah, I just came across your channel, and I would like to give you a bit of a perspective about the type of village or town that Kiely lived in.
Mm-hmm.
Only because I'm in Australia, but I lived in quite a few offbeat communities.
Yeah.
And I believe that, I can only speak from my own experience, but when I was in, they used to call it a commune, but it was very similar to what Kiely's living in, with quite a free environment.
Mm-hmm.
And the police never cared. If there was something going on, they just did not give a shit. Sorry, I don't know if you can say that.
You're fine.
On here. But also, I've been watching this diligently.
Mm-hmm.
I felt there was something odd when I first heard about Kiely. And I've been watching everything and everybody. That's how I found you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been quite a few people say that they feel that this was nefarious, that there was actually something going on. and I've been watching a guy, very small channel, but he has been saying that he believed that she was found in, like, I don't know what else to call it, but the backpack, like the way back of the car, in the, like, in the boot of the car. And also that when they found her, she had one of the car seats across her, and then it was like stuck out of the boot, so it was caught.
We're assuming that that's what it is, but one lady that I spoke to, they cleared up the image, and you could clearly see the belt kind of over her body. So I have to agree with that. I know that's not readily available to a lot of people out there, but it was definitely highly suspicious on, her positioning and how she was put in the back of that hatch.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like I said, I watched it from the beginning, and I felt all along there was something strange going about that. And also the fact that they have talked about these like club fights. And also I wonder, did something go wrong when she was like, there were people that even said that they had brought their own boxing gloves and things.
Yeah.
Like,
I did hear through my research, just to let everybody know, because I'm not coming forward with people's names, and the people that have been providing are confidential informants.
Sure.
I actually found a lot of other people's names through some additional research I was doing last night and today, but the ones that I have been able to hear and listen to on their interviews that hasn't been published yet, it appears that is true. There were some fights out there, but believe it or not, the fights didn't get out of hand. I was actually surprised, because I would not have thought that. I thought this was the biggest party that they had ever had, and they did have the friendly fights, and you would think that the fights would have become a little bit more, but the only ones that were kind of off from what I'm hearing were the actual the two boys that were high school juniors that almost got into a fight, an altercation, but didn't.
Right. So it was sort of a standard.
Yeah.
Like,
But like I said, I was surprised about that information myself. I honestly did not believe that these kids couldn't have done that.
Hey, look, after living on a hippie commune, in fact, too, and the way that you get treated by other people and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if they had like a fight night. But as you say, I also think that generally, like, speaking from my own experience, when I lived in those places, everybody cared about everybody. So it was it would have been like a more play night thing.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to let you know that, I've lived in a couple of places where the police have no regard for you because you're living an alternative life. Like, I was living in a mud yurt, and things like that, just because I was so disillusioned with, life, with how people were. And I can see that there were very, very many elements to all of this, So I appreciate you letting me have a say, but it's something to think about. If you're living in like a village community and everybody cares about everybody, if something happened to Kiely, this is why they're all quiet. They are in shock.
Yeah.
That it's happened to one of their own. And I fully believe that. But thank you for letting me have a say.
Absolutely, Ossie. Thanks for joining us. And please come back again. I appreciate all the love and support.
I will come back again.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
So there you have it. Guys, if you have not gone out, we got 1,300 people in the chat and watching this video right now. If you guys could do me a solid, it's free to say thank you to me. My mods are working tirelessly to to make sure that this chat runs smoothly and that people are having an enjoyable experience here. So if you guys could go out there and give me a thumbs up, it's free to say thank you to me and the team. Greatly appreciated. If you found some valuable information here, please don't, please consider sharing this video to your friends and family. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want to do something that helps. There's several ways that you can support this channel. You can become a member, or you can donate through Super Chat, Super Stickers, or through Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. Thank you guys so much for your love and support. Again, we're going over right now this horrible failure in the law enforcement counterparts that are dealing with the investigation of Kiely Rodni. Many of us are left uneasy. We're pretty scared right now. We're trying to figure out, is she going to be deemed an accident and just kind of shoveled under the rug? Or are they really doing a thorough and full investigation here into her disappearance and how she got to the bottom of the lake? There were several things. Yes, I did. We're about to go into them right now. Thank you, love. Thank you. Jenny, just sit tight, Jenny. I will be with you. I'm going to go to some video or some photos right now, and then we'll get back to you. So just sit tight. So, and we're just really concerned because she was a beautiful soul. She was very talented. Something happened to her there. And we're going to go over my theory now, my new theory based upon new information about the whole Boca Reservoir. So if you guys have not heard about that, I'm sure everybody's talking about the tow truck guy, right? He really wasn't a tow truck guy. He was a roadside assistance guy. He wasn't in a tow truck at all, but we're going to call him the tow truck guy because that's what everybody knows him by, right? TTG. So anyways, one of our audience members that keeps us up to date on new and relevant stuff has sent us over some new photos, and we're going to go ahead and just look at these now. Now, I don't know if other creators have them on their channel yet, but this is the first for ours. And here is her sleeping, and it says sleepy. And people are starting to get creeped out by this photo because they're wanting to know, was this from that night? Is this what she was wearing that night when she disappeared? Because everybody's saying it appears that this might have been her car. But, and then we're going to go over some other worrisome stuff that I found. Jagger Westfall says, I'm sorry, Kiely. I wasn't there for you when you needed me. I miss you so effing much. You were a better friend than I could have ever deserved. But despite that, you were there for me when no one else was, and you saved me. Listening to music in the car, going climbing, doing whatever else with you. With you were my best days. The days that I have always looked forward to the most. In the days that I will dream about now, I hope you are resting easy, surrounded by all the love you have from your friends and family. You are an absolute treasure, Kiely Rodni. I will never stop thinking about you. And this was, I don't know which one of her friends posted this. It was liked by Jagger, so I have a funny feeling it came from somebody else. But sleepy, we're all looking in here trying to find out, was this girl, another thought is that she could have potentially been drugged. Is that the case? I've got some stuff that might make us call into question whether that is legit or not. So I don't really want to show that just yet. I'm not sure. Some of this stuff I'm not sure because I haven't gone through. So it looks like I'm looking through all this. Let's see what this says. Not really. Visor is right next to it. And in comparison to the perfect size of a pregnant, because this is going over the pregnancy test. I don't know if you guys saw that they added like the Clear Blue Easy. They highlighted, they looked through everything in the car and they found something. I tried to look at it. It was really fuzzy on the photos. Gray hoodie under guy shirt. Yeah. So it was funny because when I looked at it, it didn't really look, that's a fake pic. Okay, got it. Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, it doesn't look like it's a defined Clear Blue Easy test. It almost looked like it was a blob of something. I mean, it was definitely something there, but I just couldn't make out the shape of being, and we looked at it. I even showed Olivia. Olivia was here when I found it. So I'm not sure if it's a pregnancy test or not, but people have been, obviously doing some research as to whether it's a pregnancy test. I'm unsure whether it is or not. From the party So we have some other, what does it say? People posted pics from the party, names to search on the site. I'm not ready for that yet. And we know about this, that there's a hoodie that he's finding a whole bunch of stuff. But this is stuff that's washing upon the shore. Was this hoodie in that car? Is it possible that some of this stuff is in that car? Insurance paperwork, like this stuff should have been collected. Who feels, I know I did this before, but we have a lot more people in here now. By a show of ones, who feels that law enforcement totally botched this job? By a show of ones. Because I just feel like every time I come back here, it's starting to get to the point where we're not able to, it's just looking I don't know. It's just looking intentional to me. I'm going to quit beating that up. She's in the vehicle there, it seems. Thank you for posting. Strange. I've followed her poor family. I'm not sure about these. Oh, here it is. I'm not responding to any DMs or tags until the autopsy is publicly released. Sorry if this affects any of you. And so I'm not ready for all that. So that was kind of what we went through. So a couple new photos there of Kiely. And that's about it. So let me get this off. Oh, sorry. I guess I just all right, Jenny, I'm bringing you up. How are you?
Good, thank you. So my question is this. They have been saying that the friendly fights happened and that this town is corrupt. Is there any possibility that the police were actually at those fights and helped hide her body? And
I think that's going too far. I think that's going too far. This doesn't scream major deep corruption cover up to me. This was too sloppy. This was too sloppy to have law enforcement involved, in my opinion. I mean, anything's possible, but just looking at everything, this was sloppy. This is sloppy as sloppy can get. They could have, if they would have thought about this properly, they could have sunk her in the front seat and nobody would have even thought twice.
Did they kick AWP out?
Yeah.
So that
law enforcement
could be thrown out of the car?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Did they make AWP leave so that all the evidence in the car would actually come out the windows when they pulled it out?
No, I don't think that's possible. That's standard when law enforcement is in it, because that's what they did when we were out there at Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park, and we found some what we thought was maybe potential evidence on the other side. There was, because there was stuff kind of scattered in a larger area, but smaller condensed areas within that larger area. But long story short, we found some evidence. And the first thing when the sergeant got there, he made all of us leave that particular area, which pushed us over to the other area, and where we were all looking, where we found a water bottle. So it's like, I am familiar with that. Once law enforcement gets on there and they deem that something could potentially be something related to a active case, they throw anybody that's not law enforcement out of the area. It's just a standard operating procedure.
Okay. Thank you.
But for Adventures with Purpose now, in some of these cases, they're able to extract it themselves, and that's through the coordination that they have with law enforcement. And most of these cases are, years old and not active, brand new cases where, there's still evidence and fibers and fingerprints and DNA that can be had.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's factual or not, but that's what I think is the reason.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on. So that's that. Now, I'm going over this timeline. I'm just going over it. And Elsa was the last person that saw Kiely and actually said that she was pretty messed up at some point. I don't know if that, at what time they actually thought. If you want to show your little Bills, if you want to show your face, I'll bring you up. Perfect. You can go ahead and go back, take your camera off. Thank you. Hi, little Bills. How you doing? You're muted.
Sorry about that. I'm good. How are you? Good morning.
Good. So what do you think about this whole thing with the law enforcement? I mean, this is just, to me, it's just too much.
My whole thing is it's been what, 2 weeks or more since they pulled her car out,
Yeah.
and you're telling me that this kid just now, like all the people that know about this case and everybody around there, nobody else has thought to go look in the water for any of her stuff until now?
I could tell you when we were out at Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park, people were out there and finding stuff of Brian. Like the water bottle was just the most notable. There was other people out there taking do-rags and other items that belonged to Brian that were left out there by law enforcement. They were taking them as souvenirs.
Yeah, but I mean, like her laptop and stuff like that underwater. I mean, it's the waters went down a lot, so it wasn't that deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's just.
My
I
question
feel like
is,
there would have already been someone out there.
Hold on, Bills. How many people have gone out there before Check-It went out there and took stuff? How many people went out there and already went in the water before he got there and nobody even knows? How much other stuff is not going to the lab or is not being collected because somebody took it as a souvenir?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, I just find it weird that all of a sudden, and I'm not talking down on the guy that did the YouTube video. I know he's probably just stumbled on it like everybody else, but I just find it weird that 2 weeks later, somebody's finally going out there to go underwater, and because everybody obviously knew stuff fell out of that car when it was flipped, or even when it went in. And everybody's just been hush hush about it, but this kid goes out and literally looks over the side of his boat and sees it all. I mean, it just seems like a lot of people would have visited that spot since it's not closed off, it's still open, anybody can go, obviously. I don't know, I thought I'd share that. That's been kind of
I have
bugging
a
me.
problem with this whole, I mean, like I said, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt with the whole not finding the car thing, but that's one thing. Doing a poor, sloppy investigation it's totally another thing. This explains why they couldn't find the car, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the whole way they've handled it from the point that they found the car is file it over without covering the windows first. And why would you even flip the car when you could pull it out on the roof? It wouldn't have.
Not only that, but somebody was right. You're flipping a child in the back of that car like a rag doll when you need to preserve her in the position that she's in to get the most amount of evidence from her. I never understood why they flipped that car. I thought that was just a standard operating procedure until I started listening to Doug and his interviews, and I realized that wasn't accurate. That wasn't right.
No, that car
would have just pulled it out on its roof.
That car would have slid out on the roof probably just as easy as the wheels, I would think.
Yeah, and now they sustained more damage to the car, which may have had evidence. Think about it. That driver's side window could have had a fingerprint on it that they just ruined.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, them reaching in, turning the steering wheel,
hearing a latent fingerprint. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done anything. I mean, that crime scene was just, or that scene, whatever you want to call it, it was just so botched, and the fact that they run Doug and everyone off makes me think even more that they're trying to. But what you said about the comment earlier about how they were disrespecting her corpse, that's totally true. Like she said, I mean, they flipped the car with her body in it. It could have went anywhere. They put her on the back of that tow truck, and we've all seen how rough those roads are. So it's going to be bouncing around even more on a flatbed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much, and them being quiet. I understand it's an open investigation and they can't say a whole lot, but just going radio silent like they're doing is just.
No, the radio silence telling me. I mean, I'm surprised Ron didn't. Maybe he did address it, and I just wasn't there for it because I can only spend like 20 or 30 minutes on it in any YouTube channel, because I'm so busy. But I want to know, how he I know how he feels about them botching this entire case up, but I'm curious as how he feels about their ability to work this case, and what kind of fail safes are involved in this case that'll keep the corruption down, because I just feel this is intentional. How can you make this big of a mistake? How can you make this error? You would think that they would have policies and procedures in place, a step-by-step checklist that they must go through before they ever start extracting that car up to the water.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was literally, I mean, where that car landed would have been considered the crime scene. And them going down there, and I mean, that's why Dog Nail they don't want to mess with it, because they don't want to mess with any evidence.
Let me you can come back up here in just a second. I'm gonna go through my theory on the Boca Reservoir.
Yeah, you're good. I just wanted to come in and share that.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Little Bills.
All right, thank you.
So Tammy, I believe it was her laptop, and here's why. One, I personally know how shoddy some of these investigations can be because I've witnessed them. This is not the first time for me. Two, because there were distinct stickers on that laptop. There's no way somebody that did not know her, and I doubt Check It TV knows who Kiely Rodni is or what her laptop looked like. She had very specific photos or stickers on her laptop that, you know, was her identifying, you know, stuff. It showed you her personality on her laptop. And then also because Jagger has also come out and stated that that is her laptop. He's confirmed that that is an exact replica of her laptop. And I don't understand how Check It TV could have made that laptop the way it was found if it wasn't hers. So I'm kind of there, you know, if you believe that, you know, more power to you. Just me personally, I don't believe, I believe that laptop did belong to her. I believe that Check It TV did in fact find her laptop out there. Again, just my personal opinion. I'm pretty sure it will be confirmed, you know, sooner than later. And it has been confirmed by Jagger, but, you know, more of a forensically, I hope police at least got the laptop, because that laptop could, without a doubt, have some information relevant to this case. And I am just absolutely disgusted that they left all that stuff out there. Thank you, Green Thumb, our newest member to our coffee club. Thank you. Grab yourself a cup and come enjoy it with us. Let's see what else we got going on here. All right, I think I got through most of this stuff. So, my theory on this Boca Reservoir. There were a couple things that Doug said yesterday on Zav's channel. I'm not going to, you know, play it or anything like that. You can go to Zav's channel and listen to it for yourself if you'd like to. But my understanding now, if I get it, if I'm not verbatim, don't beat me up. Don't beat up Bullhorn Betty because she misspoke one word, okay? But the gist of it was that Doug said he had no reason to believe that that car was not there since day one. Doug said that out of his mouth. He also believes that the people over at Boca Reservoir have been confirmed. That story has been confirmed to be true, and they believe it is connected. Okay? So my new theory is I'm wondering if the people that Nick ran into on that road service call, if they were the people that may have done what they did to Kiely, instead of being Kiely or Jagger or whatever, that they are actually the people, the persons of interest that sunk that car. And I don't think it was Kiely. I don't know if she was in the back of that truck, you know, gone. Or the SUV or whatever he was servicing, because he never really alleged what vehicle he was servicing. He never stated that it was an SUV or a car or anything like that. As a matter of fact, it was never published. What was published is while he was talking about this, Kiely's car and license plate was picture-in-picture added to that video, and it kind of implied that the vehicle that he was referencing was hers, but he never described it. He never stated that. It was just implied in that Adventures with Purpose video. But yet last night on Zav's, he said he had no reason to believe that vehicle was not in that lake at that time. So I'm wondering, this is just my theory, I'm wondering if they had already sunk that and they had this thing, and maybe they had some evidence in the back of that car. Maybe they had, who knows, it could have been it could have been a robbery gone wrong for all we know. Maybe she had some things that our mom didn't know about that maybe she was selling at the party herself to make some extra money. Who knows? We don't have that information, but it makes me wonder, maybe they were questioning this roadside guy since he was already there to make sure that they strapped her in properly when they sunk her so she couldn't get out of the car. Maybe it was already done and they were just confirming that they did it right. It's a possible theory. And it would explain her car going into that water at the time it went into that water and still had this weird occurrence over at the Boca Reservoir. And it would still go in line with what Doug said when he said he doesn't believe, or he believes that car's been in the water as long as they said it was. But he also made it a point that he has confirmed that this, whatever happened over at Boca Reservoir, must be connected and is connected somehow. He told us that it's connected. I trust him. I believe it's connected, but I don't believe it was Kiely. I don't believe it was Kiely's vehicle because he himself said he has no reason to believe that Kiely's car was not in the reservoir the night of the party. That came out of his mouth. So now that we got that information, that was crucial to me developing my opinion. Now it's kind of making sense to me. Like I said, that stuff over there was the puzzle piece that did not fit in this puzzle for me. But if somebody's acknowledging that she was already in that water and this event happened at Boca Reservoir, I can understand that. Now it's kind of in line with what I'm seeing. So I don't know what that means. I'm putting a lot of speculation into what Doug Bishop with Adventures with Purpose meant on Zav's channel when he said that this was connected. However, he has no reason to believe that car was not already in that lake. So that tells me that he is acknowledging, that was my worry box. He's acknowledging that car was already in the water, which I, stated that everything just seemed in and around Prosser, everything. It just didn't seem legit for somebody with, especially the phone turning off at 12:33. We watched a video here, and I didn't realize the video we watched here where the car was sinking, and I was like, man, that floated a lot longer than I thought it would. Well, apparently, when your windows are down, the seals around your doors just make the water just pour right in because there's no pressure as it is when the windows are open. So when we watched that video, I noticed that the windows were all closed and it took a lot longer to sink. From what I'm hearing from the experts is if those windows are open, there's no pressure in the cab and all the seals around all the doors are just flooding in because there's no pressure keeping it out or just allowing it to seep in. And that car goes down and it goes down quick, under a minute. So we know her windows were open. We know that strap or something was blocking the seal on the back. I guarantee that car was underwater in less than a minute, not 3 minutes like we watched on that video that I showed you. All right, Mama Goats, I'm bringing you on in. If you want to have your face on, you can. If you want to turn your camera off, you're more than welcome to do that as well. You're coming up now. Hello.
Good morning, Mama Goats.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Very good, Mama.
Okay, so I've been going back and I've been watching all these old videos. So now what I'm doing is watching where I think it was KCRA that has had the plane up and then, or they're using somebody's video. I'm going to say they're using somebody, but it is KCRA. Mm-hmm. And you can watch the LE dive team. Mm-hmm. There's no way. I mean, first of all, watching it, it looks like they did more than just flip it. I mean, they have it on the law enforcement boat, the divers the whole time. Well, they keep panning back and forth. And there's no way. that those guys can be underwater like that right there from the edge going out and not to see anything, even after they flip that car, because they are still
But
around. I
I
mean,
would have thought with the FBI on scene, like we've watched the FBI files, we've watched Joe Kendo, we've watched these real life, crime TV things with real life detectives for decades. I grew
right.
up on them as a kid.
Yes.
And I've never in my life, like I knew that they were going to keep her in that car to take her back to the FBI building. I knew that because I've watched it, I've studied it, and I know the reason why. And it's so that they don't disturb the forensic evidence in the car. It's easier in some cases to transport the vehicle with the body inside of it so they don't disturb the environment. But what they did when they didn't wrap those windows and they flipped that car, they disturbed that environment. That is a forensic nightmare.
Absolutely. Yes. And so watching them, like, even like, I don't know, it was just, I'm like, oh my gosh, the divers are down there. They're right there. And they kept surfacing, then they'd go back under, then they'd surface, and then they'd go back
What
under.
was the purpose of the scuba tanks if they weren't going to go to the very bottom of the freaking? I mean, where did they think this car was going to be? Did they think it was going to be floating in between the top and the bottom? I mean, if you're talking about a car, it's going to sink. And so unless you have your eyeballs on the bottom of that floor, you're not doing a good job. Like if you see the bottom of that floor clearly and you're swimming it, then yeah, you're doing a great job. But I don't get it. I don't get it. I think you clicked off. Uh-oh, Mama. She might have had a call. Well, she can come back on when she gets it all worked out. Tanya, I'm going to go ahead and pull you up, hon. Hey, love.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm okay. Just driving to work and watching your stream, and just this whole case is absolutely blowing my mind. I actually don't live very far from Truckee, so I've been very invested in since day one, and it just seems like just when you think you got a grip on it, something else comes out, and you're like, what in the actual hell is going on? But I had a thought, because one of the things that, with the phone turning off, that whole situation, and coming off and trying to figure out why doesn't it line up with the timeline? See, I mean, timeline and all that. But you know how there's been talk of a fight that occurred potentially between Kiely and another girl.
Mm-hmm.
What if the phone itself is the start of the fight? Like if somebody took her phone and chucked it in the water, out of a heated whatever, in the heat of the moment, they threw it, the phone, that's why the phone shuts off, and there's a fight that kind of starts from that point. They could have gotten fights. She could have hit her head, had a concussion. It could explain why she was stumbling and fell in a hole when Elsa saw her, because she could have been lightheaded, not necessarily intoxicated. And Elsa also said that she didn't see any tail lights, that she should have, when Kiely started going towards her car, if she would to leave, she would have seen her pass by, but she didn't see any headlights, any taillights. She didn't see the car at all. If she did get a concussion, she could have gone to her car thinking, I'm just going to sleep it off. But, concussion is a serious thing. And she might have just never woken up. And then the kids might have found her the next morning and panicked. And just,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I keep trying to go back as a teenager. And it's like, if somebody would have slept or bumped their head and died in front of me, what would the thing I would do first? And it's like, no matter how intoxicated I was, the first thing me personally, and it's happened before, would be calling 911. It wouldn't be, and my first response isn't pack her up and dump her in a lake. My first response is to call and get help.
True. Unless they got suggestion from somebody outside, like an adult. There's just, you might absolutely be right. I'm still really wondering about that.
400 kids and not one of them says, guys, this is wrong. We need to call help. Not one person.
But there was also adults in that area that apparently were telling kids not to talk to the cops either. So,
and now some of the kids' parents are telling them the same thing. Like, I'm just like disgusted.
Yeah.
It's, this is what's scary when you send your children out there, whether you know it or not. You're relying on other people to help if something happens to your child, not turn your back on them or to them turn your back on you. I mean, it's just like these parents. This could have been any of those parents' stories. I digress. It's
Yeah,
frustrating.
no, it's absolutely frustrating and it's terrible. And I understand the cops tried to do the best they could, or at least I'm hoping that they tried to do, or at least most of them,
Yeah.
let's say. But it is very concerning. Just so many gaps in this, so many questionable things that and now especially with this laptop being found and all her stuff that came out of her car, it's just if there was an actual crime, how can you at this point, how can you even if you get, you could potentially link somebody to it, how can you even successfully try a case at this point, because all that evidence has been
there's ways around it. You got to tell. It's just an embarrassment though. But it's because I've come from the legal background. I mean, some of the stuff I think will be okay, even with the whole transfer of evidence issue that they have right now, and having another YouTuber's hands on it. Like it's just getting too convoluted, and it's not. The whole thumbnail on this show was just to prove a point. For all those naysayers out there to tell the YouTubers to stay the hell out of it. You know what? Thank God we have people that don't listen to that, because this case would be all messed up had we just left law enforcement for this particular case.
Adventures with Purpose wouldn't have come out. I mean, they came out because of the traction this got online. I mean, typically they come out when somebody's missing far longer.
Absolutely.
So they're not really
Absolutely.
out there. So, I mean, that and then check it, finding all those items. There's obviously there's theories, and there's people who are just running wild and it's gotten out of control, but you're going to get that in any situation. But there's a lot of good that came from the online true crime community with this case, and other cases out there. I mean, I think it's important. There's we're networking, we have the internet, we have all this. If we can help, if you can have additional eyes and bodies and people who just going online and researching and looking things up, it's just additional resources that hopefully in this case and in future cases. But yeah, I mean, that's all I wanted to say. I just want to jump on real quick. I've been debating whether or not I've been
come back. Everybody likes commentary. They like different perspectives, because we're all different. You might resonate with a few people in the audience. I might resonate with a few people in the audience. I'm about to bring Clayton up here, and he's going to be resonating with a few people in the audience. So, we all I love the open panel type thing, because, I don't have all the answers, and maybe you guys put a perspective that somebody's not thinking about.
Can I ask your opinion on something? I've been debating whether or not I should attend the memorial service, because again, I'm semi-local, but not like
I would definitely attend. If you want to ask how Bullhorn Betty would have attended, it'd be attending with cameras strung from head to toe. But not everybody can be Bullhorn Betty. No, but if you can, get some shots. Let's see who's all there. We know that people show up to the scene of the crime. We know people go to people's funerals that are responsible. So maybe do some, if you go, maybe.
Well, and that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking if I do go, I would try to take some video and photos and stuff. I just, this family has been through a lot, and I've been trying to find if they're like posted anything about it, because I heard someone mention that they're now wanting only close family. They're trying to limit who attends there, and I haven't been able to confirm that, and I just don't want to be disrespectful, but I think I might try to go there.
Show our respect, but I'm sorry, I would be showing my respect, but I'm a person that can walk and chew gum at the same time, so I'd be showing my respect and doing my job.
Got it. Well, thank you. Have a great rest of your day, and I love your streams. I'll definitely be tuning in. Bye.
All right, Clayton, I'm going to go ahead and bring you up.
Hey, Betty. How are you? I'm great.
Where are you from?
I'm from South Carolina, so I'm on the other side of the country from this case, but definitely caught my attention.
Before you go any further, I know you're going to talk about this, but you're from South Carolina. Have you ever heard of a gentleman by the name of Todd Colehep?
I sure have.
He wrote me.
He's right down the road from me.
He wrote me. He knows Bullhorn Betty's home address. I'm freaking out.
No, that was a wild case. I actually, so I've got about 10 years experience in law enforcement. I got out of law enforcement about 5 years ago. and I did some other work, and then I kind of stepped back into it in a different aspect. But the place that I was working at after I left law enforcement, the guy that was with the Kayla Brown girl that Cole Hep kidnapped, the guy that he ended up killing, his name was Charlie Carver.
Yep.
I worked with him, so he's from the same
So
town.
you're really close.
Oh yeah. It's probably, my sister actually lives in Spartanburg, which is where that was.
I actually did a video on him. I was out in front of his house. I was where that was. That was some freaky stuff, and like he wrote me back, and even his letters just it gives me goosebumps. But I gotta write him because I gotta open that door. I want to question him about those other two men.
Yeah. That case is wild. That was definitely, and there's another one here in South Carolina, the Murdochs.
Yeah, I know. I've been covering Alec too. Alec, that's an insane. That's just insane. He
that
took
was
the
really
legacy
wild.
of 3 generations and just flushed it down the toilet.
Yep, that was really crazy. And then his son was involved in that boating accident that killed that girl, and that was all kind of covered up, and money was played there, and it's a big mess.
Yeah. So what do you think about all this? You're in law enforcement. See, if I would have talked to you about this, I wouldn't have known you were in law enforcement. What do you think about this whole thing? Like, I have a hard time. Like, it's paining me horribly to be wagging my finger at law enforcement. I felt bad for them because they really did bring it. It seemed like they were really struggling, and that's the reason why they brought in Adventures with Purpose. They knew they couldn't solve this by themselves. And it's like, okay, I feel bad. I feel like they did the right thing. And so I'm giving them a pass. But then this happens, the extraction of the vehicle, major mistakes happened, total forensic nightmare. How does this, what do you have to say about this?
So like I said, I've got right at 10 years experience in law enforcement. I started out in corrections, then I went to be a deputy, was on the road, got into investigations for a couple of years. And the reason that I got out of law enforcement was this exact kind of thing. I saw cover-ups going on. I saw officers doing wrong things instead of the sheriff's office and the department being transparent about it and punishing and taking care of the issues of those officers. They would push it under the rug and act like it didn't happen, and then the public would find out, and then it would be a whole thing, and then the department would end up turning their back on the deputies that they had been trying to cover for the whole time. And so I just said, you know what, I can't even justify putting myself in a situation like that. So I stepped away. And now I'm in the bail bonds, bail recovery industry. So I work completely for myself.
I almost went into that at one point, and I'm like, do I really am I glutton for punishment or?
It's fun, but it's a headache. It really is.
Paperwork alone would make me pull my hair out.
Yeah. And I'm here right now by myself. I'm here 7 days a week, just about 20. I'm on call 24 hours.
So you're in South Carolina. What area of South Carolina?
Anderson.
So if you need a bail bondsman, there's your bail bondsman. Anderson County.
Yeah.
He's got your back. He's got your back when your back's against the wall.
That's right.
So, I'm just a little, it's like, the first one I can give you the benefit of the doubt for, but this was a major failure. Not only that, but it's weeks later. It's not like, somebody was out there like Jonathan Lee Rich's Chronicles of Olivia and I were out at Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park when Brian was found. Like, we were literally out there. As soon as they released and opened that park up to the public, we were inside that park within 20 minutes. Big difference here. Like, this Check TV is weeks later going to this thing and this stuff, and her belongings are just washing ashore. Like, and I'm just thinking, like, what if the mom wanted this? What if the mom want that? What if the mom wanted this stuff? We don't know what a mom that's grieving like she's grieving is going to want. She may want the freaking last receipt of groceries or sandwich that she bought before this party. That might bring her comfort. We don't know, and it's just scattered.
I watched Doug's interview with Zav last night, and one thing that I caught that kind of rubbed me the wrong way was how this investigation has changed hands so many times. It hasn't been one agency that's been over this investigation the whole time. And I can understand from the aspect of the vehicle and an accident investigation into how that happened. I can understand CHP taking over that aspect of it. But as far as the full investigation and the recovery of that vehicle and everything, I feel like one agency should have stepped up and it should have been done by them from day one. And then they should have cast out these other issues to other agencies to help them with.
Mm-hmm.
That to me just it screams too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yes,
And
we have a logistical issue
mm-hmm.
in this whole investigation as
Yep.
well.
Yep. And you know, as far as the FBI, I've worked alongside the marshals in the FBI a few times, and I can say that they're very good at what they do, but they have a very small skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And vehicle recovery and that kind of stuff is just not what they do.
Right.
They're more in the forensic side of things. They're more in the investigation side of things.
But being in the more of the forensic side of things, that's my issue right there. Because they are in the forensic side of things, they should have been saying, wait a minute, if we don't do this exactly right, somebody should have been there and said, we have to do X, Y, and Z in order to get this vehicle up intact with all the evidence contained inside. This is not rocket science. It just needs some strategy around it to accomplish the goal. And it just seems like it just seems like amateur hour to me. And I these people, it's like the state police, the highway patrol, the state highway patrol. You've got Navada County, you've got the FBI, you got Placer County, and we have this problem.
Yep. And that's the saddest part about this whole investigation is, to me, is just the oversight of these agencies. You know, and I think a lot of it starts with AWP coming in. I think a lot of it is a hit to their ego, and I think that it just goes downhill from there. I think that once you get your emotions, not as far as the case goes, but your emotions as far as protecting yourself involved, that's when you start overlooking things, because you're more worried about protecting your own ego and protecting how you're going to look, and you start overlooking things.
Great perspective, exactly.
Because I mean, to me, if it was me and I was over this investigation, the very first thing I would have done when they found that car is I would have had a briefing with AWP right then, and I would have said, look, we've only worked 5 cases in the whole time that we've been doing this. Y'all have had 30 cases that y'all solved. We may not let y'all go hands-on with this, but we want y'all right by our side and let us know how to do this.
Yeah, how would you, what's so wrong with saying, hey, how would you do this?
Yeah, because
it would have been a simple question to ask. They would have told them, and then they would have decided, well, this is a better way, and may have chose to do their way anyways.
Yeah.
But at least they would have heard them out. They would have given them an opportunity, and they may have pulled it out, and we may not even be facing this information. But at the end of the day, I have never in my life seen a car come out with evidence inside that was not wrapped. This is not the first time I've watched the FBI or any law enforcement agent take a submerged car that may have a body in it, or connected to a murder or connected to a kidnapping, out of the water. I have never seen them do it this sloppy before.
No, and like I said, you know, it's sad that you know, to me, when I look at the role of law enforcement, it's to, number one, protect the case, protect the integrity of everything involved in the case. And number two, it's to bring as much evidence to the table so you can get as much closure for this family and as much justice to be served on who it needs to be served to. And so in that, you have to allow your ego to go out the window. You have to allow what you feel about the case to go out the window. You have to let the evidence take you to each different step in the case, right. and you have to follow the evidence to where it leads. And so the way that they handled this investigation from the start, to me, just screams ego. It screams that you know, they're more concerned about how the public's going to view them, and then now look where it got them.
And look, it's an election season, and somebody even brought up the fact that that they're withholding this report till after the elections are over. Somebody pointed it out to me. Now, I'm not saying that's what they're doing here. I'm just saying that it looks pretty political to me.
And going back to the Colhip case, you know, that was something that was said in that case too. That was during an election year when that happened, an election cycle, and you know, those superbike murders had been unsolved for all those years. And me personally, I don't believe Colhip committed those murders at the superbike store. I really don't. He just don't know enough of the facts and doesn't know enough of the case to say that he was there. I just don't believe it. But I believe that that sheriff went in and had a sit down with him and said, look, you help me, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I'll make sure you don't get the death penalty.
Yeah.
And we'll prosecute this a certain way so that you don't have to worry about getting the death penalty as long as you confess to these other crimes to help me out. So there's a good possibility that something like that's going on. I mean, it happens all the time.
Definitely things that go on behind closed doors. With me being in the political, arena and knowing politicians, I've seen my fair share of some things. I'm glad that we identify them and move those people out of this county pretty quickly.
Yeah, there was a couple of things that I found out from Doug last night that I feel like we kind of confirmed that we can kind of scratch off the table now. Number one, that's that the car was in neutral. He confirmed that last night. With the car being in neutral, we also confirmed that the keys were in ignition. So there's two things there that we can go ahead and scratch off the table. The third thing that I feel like he 100% confirmed was that was not Kiely that was with that vehicle at Boca.
Yeah, and you know what? He even called into question whether it was the vehicle at all, her vehicle.
Well,
because he said, he goes, there's nothing that suggests right now that car was not in there. He said something to that effect, like that there's no doubt in my mind that that car was already there, because somebody had asked him if they thought it was planted later, and he answered.
Well, to me, what he was saying there, like I said, everybody can have their own interpretation until we hear him 100% say it. I don't know if I'm right or if you're right. From what I took of that is it was two separate questions. And the question that he was asked was, is it possible that car was put in after law enforcement searched and before y'all searched? And he said, no, there's nothing in my mind that would lead me to believe that car wasn't there when law enforcement searched. Now, we know that law enforcement didn't search those waters for 4 or 5 days after she went missing.
Oh.
So it could have very well been 11:30 the next morning that call was made to tow truck guy. And then after that, they may have been going to put her in Boca. And then once they had to call him, they're like, oh, well, we can't put her in here because that's the first place they're going to go. So we'll take her back over here and put her in there. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. I think that call was a panic. I think that they were just young and dumb and didn't know what they were doing and very sloppy. This whole case is very sloppy, from not only the perpetrators that did whatever they did to Kiely, but also law enforcement's investigation of it. And that, to me, is a scary combination. When you've got sloppy work on both sides, that can lead to some issues when it comes to the courtroom. Mm-hmm. And that's what worries me more than anything. I honestly believe that they're saying by November 1st that we'll have some answers. I believe by then we'll have several charges made in this case.
I think that's the reason why they're withholding it. I think there's going to be arrests made before they release the autopsy, or have it damn near close to making arrests at the time of autopsy.
Yeah, and also Doug just about confirmed that it wasn't Jagger that was with that vehicle, because he said that, without saying so much.
I've never thought anything. I looked at this in all angles, and I just never thought that poor boy was involved in this. And he just seemed like he just lost the love of his life. I mean, I can't even imagine. I feel, that first love's the hardest love. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been on a few panels, and one of the first things that I ever said was I don't believe that it was Jagger, and the reason why is because tow truck guy in his interview, he was very adamant. He didn't just say he had hair coming out under his hat. He said a little bit of hair coming out from under his hat. Yeah. And when somebody gives a detail like that, that goes a long ways in the investigation. Because if he'd have just said he's got hair coming out from under his hat, well, then it could have been anybody.
Right.
But then whenever he says a little bit of hair, well, then Jagger's got a lot of hair. So that kind of, to me, ruled him out as far.
And I picked up on that too, but I didn't pick up on that until like yesterday. That's when I actually, said, is he really describing, because I had watched this the day before last at night, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think he's describing Jagger. And it was like this lightning bulb just went off on top of my head, and I went back and I brought it up here, and I'm like, yeah, maybe he did have his hands a little closer to his shoulders than he wanted, but he said shorter hair. And, and I started saying, I don't think he's describing Jagger at all.
Yeah, I mean, like where I live, the Atlanta Braves is right down the road. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can walk around a mall or a store here and see 10 Atlanta Braves ball caps. So there's just because he's got the black San Fran hat, there could have been 20 guys at that party that had that same hat on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
and that's something Doug said. He said people are taking that hat and running with that down that rabbit hole with it.
Yeah, and I was like, "There's
and the hat.
that hat's. We're in California. Everybody
Yeah.
and their mother probably has a hat like that."
Yeah, I mean, you can just look at pictures of people around that area that's tied to this case. They're all got the same look. They've all got the flat bill hat with the long hair coming out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that to me was kind of a red herring that everybody was kind of going towards was the black San Fran hat. But the biggest piece to me that we're finding out now, and I feel like Doug almost confirmed it. He was very careful the way he answered it, but I believe she was strapped in the back of that vehicle.
She was.
And
I saw an unblurred photo of obviously there's a lot of creators that don't show what they see.
Yeah, of course.
Whenever. But I seen a photo of her with the blur removed. They were able to remove the blur, and you could clearly see almost the strap kind of coming diagonal and out right in that one spot of the car. So it does, in all appearances, look like she was in fact somehow secured to the cargo area.
Now, there is something interesting. I did some research last night after I watched Doug Live. That particular vehicle and year model has a seatbelt that comes out of the roof. That doesn't necessarily come out of the seat. So I know a lot of people are thinking it's a seatbelt from the seat.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be long enough to reach the back of the car. Right. But that seatbelt that comes out of the roof could easily go to the back of the car.
Yeah.
And be ran out the back to use it to hold her in.
You know what? It wasn't until this case I realized I had one too.
Really? Wow.
My car's almost driven into the ground right now with like 160,000 miles, and I just realized I have a cargo strap. Just for everybody that knows.
Yeah, so I found that very interesting when I started looking at it last night. I was like, because as soon as somebody brought up the fact of the strap hanging out the back of the door, I was like, well, most seatbelts aren't long enough to reach back there. And then I got doing some research, and I said, oh, this has got a cargo strap that's connected to the roof of the car.
And Don B did a thing, and then I'm going to let you go because I got a few more other people that's been patiently waiting for me. But Don B did a thing, but the problem was he a guy doing tests like wrapping around a thing around he had a box there. But I'm looking at this box and I'm like, Don, I love Don B to death. Don knows I love him to death. But Don, there is no way that girl was that wide. Okay. Yeah. I'm just saying the box you used was the wrong box, Don. Let's use a box that's a little. She was very thin. Just to let you know, Don, she was thin. She wasn't. Right, she wasn't 2 inches, or she wasn't a foot tall.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that was. I just thought that was funny. He tried though, but his even with that big box that he used, his almost came to the out the thing. So I can imagine that if she was wrapped in it, that cargo strap would have been, and it's made of the same material as our seatbelts.
Yeah. I was on panel with Ryan the other day, and I want to leave you with the same thing that I left him with, and that's that. Everybody kind of gets lost in the weeds as far as different theories and different things, but when people have differing opinions and they're able to voice those opinions to each other, they're able to work out the kinks, and there's an agreement somewhere in the middle. And so I think it's very healthy to have people that's got different opinions on. And as far as Ryan's theories, honestly, I'm kind of running with the same narrative that you are. I think this boy was playing everybody from the get-go.
I think this is going to be like the egg on the haters' faces because they were so adamant about proving him wrong. And he just utilized them for a means. Like he just played you guys. You think you're punking him, yelling at him and stuff, but he's just the reason why he's so relaxed and just sitting there back because he knows damn well he just looked at you in the face and just played you guys like a fiddle.
Yeah, and I've been watching this case, like I said, from the jump, and I saw when it all started, everybody was really into trying to figure out what was going on, and then all of a sudden, somewhere right after the car was found, everything switched to trying to point fingers here and point fingers there and talking about things that were just completely irrelevant. And I think Ryan saw that. And so I think that this was his way to kind of steer everybody back. Was trying to get everybody back to.
He did it brilliantly. I was perplexed, but I'm kind of a person. I don't have an engineer's mind, but I do like to know how things work.
Yeah.
And when he was coming out, like I've watched him, even he was right. I don't know. Like I was telling him, we kind of started out rocking on that very first interview because he didn't know how to take me, and I didn't know how to take him. But when we were starting to talk, I was very curious about his stance because I've watched this man on YouTube, even though I don't know him. He seems like he's a pretty chill guy. Seems like he's down to earth. Seems like he cares about a lot of people and a lot of things. He's not just somebody that's out there for money. He cares about the people he hangs out. It seems to me like he tries to help anybody that he believes in and things like that. It just seems like a nice guy. So I had a problem with him coming out with some of the allegations he came out with. And I was just curious. I really wanted to understand his position because I just felt like there was something there. I just wasn't getting it, and I wanted to get it. He still didn't, I still didn't get it by the time I was done with him. But, it was, I do agree with that. We have to be able to have our own opinions because again, what if I was nasty to him? What if I was this raging lunatic?
Well,
and he was using a reverse psychology op to get everything that we need. And here I am being nasty to this man. And he was just trying to help. And here we are, hindsight's 2020. I'm thankful I was not like these douchebags out here on YouTube, running with stuff and being nasty to another person.
And last thing before I go, because I know you got other people coming up. I was curious about the way he was coming at it. And so I was on a panel with him and I asked him point blank. I said, we just saw Alex Jones go through this in the media with the lawsuit and everything that he faced coming from Sandy Hook. I said, are you not worried about anything like that? He said, absolutely not. And I said, well, why do you feel so confident that you don't have to worry about that? He said, because I'm doing it so people will prove me wrong. That was the whole point.
I kept asking him, and I kept, because I was very curious, so I'd ask him questions, and he finally told me, he's like, there's nothing out there. Prove to me she's real.
Exactly.
And I said, so this comes down to you're basing this off lack of photos and videos. And he pretty much said yes. So that's kind of, I didn't hear, like I said, I go back and listen to this stuff after the fact because like even with our conversation here, by the time I'm done with this, I'll forget. But then when I go back and I'm relaxed and everything, and I can digest all the stuff we talked about. And that's what I did. And I remember going back and listening to that. And it's like, okay, well, if you need videos and photos, let me start digging in. And that's what everybody else did. It was brilliant.
Yeah. And I honestly believe 100% that's what he was going for because he told me, he said, point blank, because I confronted him with it. I was like, are you not worried about these people coming after you? He's like, no. And I
was able to confront him with some things too, but did it respectfully, and we had an open dialogue.
Exactly.
And you know what? It is, and I always say this all the time. I don't like people that mimic and parrot everything I say. I like that open debate and open dialogue because it gives us a more round and a whole perspective of the scenario. Because let's face it, many of us think with our right brain or our left brain, so our thought processes are different. And if we can hone all that, everybody has different strengths and weaknesses. And if we can get up here and throw it out on a table, maybe we can take, everybody's strengths, put them together and figure stuff out.
Exactly. And that's the same thing I told Ryan. I said, look, no matter if I agree with your opinion or not, I respect your opinion. Mm-hmm. I respect what you have to say. And it's very healthy to have both sides of that debate. I told him, I said, I've got friends that I've been friends with for years. And when the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing happened, they deleted me off Facebook, all because of my opinion on it was different than theirs.
Disagreement, and it just shows you how disposable and what fair weather friends are really about.
Yeah, and for some reason in this country these days, everybody wants to be kind of in a pot all to themselves, and they only want people around them that think the same way they do. And to me, that's just not healthy.
No.
So.
If I want somebody to agree with me, I'll go sleuth Google because I'm sure somebody I'll find that'll agree with Bullhorn Betty's position.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I sure appreciate you having me on. I'll let
all
you
right, Clayton, take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, Mama J, you're up next. I'm going to go ahead and pull you up. Thank you for being so patient, Mama J. You were brilliant. Thank you so much. Debbie Z, you're on deck. So, Mama J, tell us what you think about all this.
Well, I'm the one that actually sent you an IG. I don't know if you got it. I talked to you a couple days ago. I was telling you about the possible pregnancy
Yes, okay, I did get it because I actually looked at the picture. I think you're the picture I was referring to. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to make it out, but I can't.
Okay, so I sent you a video, but I can't send the link. That's where the video is.
Yeah, I got the video and I got the picture of the test. But
Yeah.
when I looked at the video was entirely too blurry for me to make out the perfect clear blue
And he
piece.
just stops, and it's for a split second. He thinks right at that time frame, at that 1550 mark.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they ask him, "Is there more than one body?" And he pauses.
Actually, I've got that up. Let's just listen to that while you're on here. Let me find it. I've got it pulled up. I just got to find it on here. I got so many windows open.
And then also with that, I'm going to put myself in a very vulnerable state right now.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to understand. I lived in that very close location for over 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
These are very corrupt cops. If you do not fall in line, you will be removed one way or another. They will either run you out of town, they will hurt you, or they will kill you.
Wow.
Period. I have left the state due to all of this. I was physically hurt by the police chief's nephew. I have long-lasting medical issues for the rest of my life due to a police chief's nephew. It was all covered up. All medical bills, everything on me. This is small town. This is what they do.
Yeah, we've been dealing with this, and this is not the first time I deal with this kind of stuff because I had to deal with this in Moab, Utah with Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner. I'm dealing with this pompous small community, you know, the sheriff over in Rogersville, Tennessee, Hawkins County with Summer Wells. You know, while I try to give these law enforcement agencies the benefit of the doubt here in this particular case, for me, it's just difficult. It's like, you know, we gave you a pass on one of the most bomb finds of like Adventures with Purpose should never have been the ones that found this car. It should have been our law enforcement agency, especially when you're having up there that you're putting 20,000 man hours into this case and you're showing photos of you guys scouring. What's the purpose of having scuba gear on if you could have had if you could just have snorkeling gear on? Because that's what they were doing. They were swimming on top of the water. Like if you can't see the bottom of the floor, you need to change your depth so you can see the bottom of the floor.
They could see it. They could see it. That water is beautiful. That water is clear, as you can see. That water is clear. Yeah, does it get murky at the very bottom? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it does. The water's pretty clear. I'm gonna tell you in my personal thoughts, they had already found the car. It's a total cover-up from the gate. They didn't want it to be found.
Let's explore that a little bit, Mama J. Let's explore that a little bit more. So if this is truly a cover-up, we have to understand why would law enforcement want to cover it up? Were one of the law enforcements or judges or, you know, county commissioners' kids at this party, were they involved in why she went into the lake? I mean, let's look at what causes these types of cover-ups. I mean, they're not going to do this cover-up for a normal Joe, just a normal resident of their community. In order for, you know, you to start having political corruption and cover-ups to take place, you'd have to have somebody in power to be responsible or have some kind of responsibility involved that required a cover-up. So who are they trying to protect?
Well, if you look at who was at the party.
Well, this is a problem. We have been looking at who's at this party. The problem is nobody's coming up with names. We're having to search. Now we have a few names right now. I think
the few names that we do have, we know Sammy's just got a criminal attorney.
Right, but still, again, who
and
are
her
parents?
mom?
Her parents aren't anybody of significance.
But her mom is an attorney in that county.
You're not, I'm sorry, but just hear me out, Mama J. I don't think that just because you're an attorney I don't think that's going to influence law enforcement, an entire county, 5, 10, 25 different agencies. I don't think that's going to corrupt 25 different agencies or however many different agents, 6 different agencies, whatever out there on the field. It would have to be a bigger fish. It would have to be a bigger fish that's involved for law enforcement to start covering people's butts. You see what I'm saying? In my opinion.
And the sheriff's it's reported that his son was there.
Now, see, now that's a bigger fish. Now that would scream to me what would be corruption. But we need to find a photo of his son, and we need to confirm and corroborate that he was actually at that party.
Correct.
Yeah. Does anybody have a son? The photo of Woo's son that they can send me? If they do, send it to bullhornbetty@gmail.com.
Who took all those photos?
A lot of different people, but remember, guess who was collecting all those photos?
That's
Sammy
what I'm
Smith.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Who collected all the kids' photos?
Sammy Smith.
That's right. That's right. Who is the daughter for the county attorney?
I don't know who the county attorney is.
Sammy's mom.
Is she the county attorney? I thought she worked for Sierra Investigates. I never heard that she was the county attorney.
She works with the county attorney.
Did I miss something? Because they sent me a whole profile on her, and I reviewed it, but I don't see any connection with the county attorney. I'll have to go back and check that. If that ends up panning out to be that, we will come back here tomorrow to dig into Sammy's family. I might go ahead and do it, but I'm trying to dig these kids up because I've got how many pages do I have here? I've got to pull all these kids up, and I know this is 20.
It's just crazy the way that these all intertwine, and you have umbrellas over everybody.
So I've got about 30. I've got about 36 to 40 individuals right here.
Yeah.
That I've got to do a deep dive on. So
having the teen to teens, you're never going to find all these photos.
No,
because they're all Sammy's got them, or they've all been deleted. They're now in the cloud and been deleted.
Yeah.
But the cloud holds them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So unless the FBI is willing to go in and get them.
But see, law enforcement came out and told us that they had to go through all the videos and photos and that there was a lot. I think they came out on the August 15th. I think that was the August 15th press conference, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong with the date, but I think it was the August 15th press conference. They said all this stuff takes a lot of time for us to go through it and come out with it. Maybe it was the 22nd. Maybe I'm mistaken it with the 22nd. And they said that the videos and photos took them a significant amount of time, but they shortly came after that press conference. It had to have been the 15th. After that press conference, they came out and changed the description of the sweater that she was wearing because they had found a photo with her in the Odd Future sweater at that party.
Okay.
But we've never seen it. We've never seen any photo from that party that shows Kiely.
And the only time I've ever seen anybody in that area be this tight-lipped is on a murder, is on a murder or a cover-up. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Other than those, I've seen, them be very transparent with the community, especially something like this. And then now that things are coming up that they've missed and nobody wants to go get them, to me, this makes no sense.
This is my problem with the whole thing. Okay, so you guys screwed up the car. Fine, we got it. They found the car. They did the press conference on the 22nd to explain, their screw up. They never addressed the fact of how the condition she was found in, or the fact that she was in that hatch. They never addressed that at that press conference. Then Adventures with Purpose came out with this damning video that really just, I was team accident. Let's be honest.
Yep.
I am now team foul play because of the work that Adventures with Purpose did. So they have taken me. They have changed my mind 180 degrees. I have turned around. And then after that, nothing from law enforcement. Nothing from law enforcement. Now we find her belongings washing up on shore, and still not one statement from law enforcement to address the concerns of the public. This is of great public concern, and they're not addressing our major concerns with this botching of this public botching of this case. I just feel like they owe us the duty to come and explain themselves, not run away with their tail between their legs.
Well, I believe they do too, but they're also probably extremely embarrassed.
But you know what? I have done things in my past that have been extremely embarrassing. We've watched the public lynching of Bullhorn Betty in real time on YouTube. And there's a lot of stuff, but you know what? You still have to come out here, and you still have to be transparent, and you still have to address it. And if I, of all people, can do it, certainly they can.
Absolutely. Everybody should be able to own up for what they have done or forgot to do, or the mistakes they have made and wished they should have done, and should be able to say, hey, I made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I do it all the time, myself personally. Yes, you should do this, but they're law enforcement. They don't want to look bad. I mean, especially the FBI right now. There's
I hate to say
so
it,
many things the FBI has done. They don't want to look bad.
Yeah, and the fact that they can't say I'm sorry and can't, just take responsibility. It puts a sour taste in my mouth, because now I have to question any cases that they move forward. Are they covering their butt? Are they deceiving me because they're embarrassed? Do I have to worry about that every time they touch something? That's not comfortable for me as a citizen.
I feel the exact same way. Exact same way. Yeah. I appreciate everything you do. Everybody, remember, hit her like button when you come in the door. It's free.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe. Keep doing everything you do, Betty.
Absolutely.
Love you so much. You're doing a great job. Keep rocking on.
Have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Debbie Z, if you want to take there you go. Perfect. Hey, Debbie.
Hey, how you doing? I'm good. Glad to talk to you again. You're so sweet, Betty.
Oh, thank you. So what do you think about all this? We'll have to wrap it up because we're already over my 2 hours, and I got to use the little girl's room, and I still got 2 more people behind the ear.
Oh, okay. So, well, mine's pretty quick.
Good.
There was an article. I might be behind because I just woke up an hour ago, but I pasted the article in the private chat that the Reno Gazette-Journal put out yesterday, saying that we will be hearing information in about 2 weeks. And it talks about adventures with purpose. It talks about foul play or accident. You don't look enthused.
Yeah, no, I'm just this whole case has got me. I was trying to find the thing I was putting up here, but this whole case has got me just nauseous. I mean, just from just epic failure. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. I've been literally nauseous, and I have to wonder if it's because I'm following this case.
It's bad. It's really bad. So
I wanted to say, Check It TV came on again, and when he was with Kiely's father, did you see that?
No, I did not.
He came on. I'm pretty sure it was live last night.
Mm-hmm.
Kiely's father wants him to keep diving and find whatever else he can.
Yeah.
And Kiely's father even waved on his camera, which I couldn't believe.
Well, his father's got to be. I mean, her father's got to be furious at this point.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, he's got to be like, how can you F this up, and how can you keep effing this up?
Yeah,
I can't even imagine.
And that was his first response when they found the car. You heard him all the way coming down the truck. No, it can't be. This can't be that it's this close, and they missed it. And
I feel bad for this family. There's nothing that I could say that could ever. This is a family that has experienced probably the worst pain, and then adding insult to injury because of this law enforcement, these knuckleheads that can't seem to get it together.
Yeah, well, the mother doesn't hesitate to bash Adventures with Purpose.
Yeah, where's she coming out with the police? Right. What about the police?
Right, exactly.
Sad. Well, thank
you.
Anyway,
wait. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Check It TV said that he has another piece of evidence that he can't tell us about, and people are hinting that it may be a pregnancy test.
Might be the pregnancy test, or it might be the white purse. There was a white purse in there, and I saw it under the water when they were doing the video, and I was hearing about this white purse early on when she disappeared, about it being filled with, I heard it was shrooms, but we can alternate that to, drugs in general. So I've always wondered, was this a robbery gone bad? What was going on here? There's more to this story than we know.
Right.
So, well, Deb, I've really got to get on to the next people in line. I'm so sorry, but I've got to kind of wrap the show up.
That's okay, Betty. I'll talk to you again, I'm sure.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Have a great day.
Please read that article.
Okay, I will.
Okay, thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and bring up Ryan Parker. If you'd show me your face. Bradford Goodwin. Thank you, Ryan. I'll be bringing you up in just a second. Anyone notice stepmom, our mom, stepdad, Mags, and others left after the question of more than one in ride in cop looked at mom first? That's a little choppy. So I'm assuming that was related to possibly what if this pregnancy test does have relevance? What if the entanglement that Dolly Vision was talking about, that we now believe was never between Sammy and Jagger, but Sammy, Nate, and Kiely? What if they found out Kiely was pregnant and Nate and Sammy took care of it? Another perspective. I mean, if we were going to be putting this into play, there's always the possibility it was another friend's pregnancy test that was in the car. That's happened too, right? If it was even a pregnancy test. So, I don't know. I'm hoping that's what you're referring to, but it wasn't really clear for me. All right, Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and pull you up. How are you doing, Ryan? Where are you calling from? Ryan just dropped off. Okay, Salty, can you show me your face and I'll go ahead and bring you up? Salty? There you are. Okay, go ahead and you can go ahead with your camera. All right. Hi, Salty.
Hey, how are you?
And where are you calling from?
Oh, wait, I can't hear you. Hold on.
With your camera.
There you go.
All right. Hi, Salty.
Hey, how are you?
Turn down the background.
Oh, wait, I can't hear you. Hold on.
With your camera.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I had the other thing playing.
That's
Sorry.
okay.
First of all, just props to you for allowing people to have their opinions, because it's getting a little old with people getting hurt over different opinions. This is America. My husband fought for this country. We're allowed to have opinions, and this is how you can come to a conclusion, by having different opinions. Yeah. But anyway, I was looking at where people say that's a pregnancy test. I'm going to call it, what I call it is the holy shit handle, because you're either saying, oh my God, or holy crap, or oh crap, if you're grabbing a hold of it. That's what it looks like to me. It doesn't look, the stills I've seen of it looks just too distorted. But when you look at it in AWP's video, that's what it looks like to me. It's the handle. And when whoever took that original still, it's all distorted, and it does look kind of like a pregnancy test. If that's what you're looking for, you know what I mean? But when you look at it in the video of AWP, it looks to me just like that handle. I have them in my car.
Somebody sent me a picture of Clear Blue Easy and circled it in the car. So I saw what they were looking at. It's just, for me, I didn't go back to the video and look at it in real time. I just looked at those, and I couldn't make it out based on what was sent to me that was truly a pregnancy test. But again, it was right there by the window. So the way they did the car, I would beg to venture that maybe it would have fallen out, and it is possible that Check It TV may have that because it was entirely too close to that window. And we know that they didn't care about what flew out the window.
Obviously, that was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Listen, they just...
And think about this.
I think it's an accident.
Let's put this, hold on, Salty. Let's put this in real reality. This is the kind of crap that lets people walk, that gets good sleazy defense attorneys, and they say, well, the evidence, the way the evidence moved through was out of sync with what they were supposed to do. This wasn't collected in the same manner. This has been contaminated. Who knows how long it's been out there? Who knows who's touched it? This is like the defense attorney's best case scenario in arguing a case like this.
Oh, it'd be their dream. Listen, they either think that they've decided in their own minds that this was an accident and then just didn't care, which is so disrespectful to that family. It's disgusting.
Yeah, you leave a child in the water for 2 weeks longer than she should have been there because you guys were out there. You screwed that up. So this poor baby sat there in that cold water for weeks because of their first screw up. And now you got all the evidence and her belongings, her private belongings, after you already did that to her, just washing up on shore. Like, I'm like, this.
Yeah, they left it there like trash because, listen, a child understands gravity. They knew the windows were open in that car. They knew they were going to flip that car. Gravity's going to take over. Yeah. That stuff is going to fall out.
Okay, they did that. Why did they have somebody that's sitting outside of that car picking up every little thing that fell out of it?
Or like AWP said, Doug had said they would have covered those windows. They would never have flipped that car. It didn't need to be flipped underwater. They would either lifted it with their floats or they would have pulled it out on its roof. Yeah. So it makes
lifting with the floats is brilliant. Those floats are brilliant. You could literally bring it up. They could have had a crane that picked it up, put it on the thing. Everything would have been done. All the evidence would have been preserved. The entire crime scene could have been preserved in the exact way it was found. They screwed this up, and they better. Oh my gosh, can you imagine how infuriated I would be if I find out they didn't take any cataloging of anything underwater? I will be so angry. I would just be like, oh my God, are you serious?
I don't think they did. I think they just left it there and didn't care. They didn't care. They think this was a drunk girl that drove into the water. They're shady as hell and they're involved in something. But for me, for the police to be involved in hiding that car, that's the last lake they would have put it in. They know, they're local. They know that that's the first lake they draw from, Prosser, to fill that other lake. Mm-hmm. That water's gone down so much, it would eventually been found. I believe that Checkett said by next week, you'll be able to walk out to where he's finding all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so that wouldn't make sense. They would have put it somewhere else, not Prosser, because that's the first lake they draw from. But at the same time, them leaving this stuff, it makes no sense unless they're just total, I'm sorry, scumbags that would leave her belongings there. Her laptop where stuff can be pulled from the hard drive to give to these parents, disgusting. And I'm a little like, I'm wondering where mom is. She's very upset with AWP, where she is not.
You know what? I think that was, she put a lot of weight. She put a lot of stuff. She was angry. I think that she had to find out from her waitress about it. But, at the end of the day, I don't know if I'd be eating sushi when there's a big outfit that came into town to look for my missing daughter. I don't know if that's really where I'd be. I mean, I'm not condemning the mom for it, but they did what the law enforcement in your community couldn't do. And if anybody should have got that wrath, it should have been the law enforcement in your community, not Adventures with Purpose. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry for the loss.
I have 6 children and they're young adults. Mm-hmm. And if I knew another group of people were coming in to search, I'm attached to their hip. I want to find my child. I want to be there. And grandpa and dad were at that lake. I mean, so
yeah, and that's why I say, I'm not. It's hard. It's hard because she's mom and she's going through stuff that she's never gone through. But it's also coming back like all the other family could be there. Why weren't you? It's kind of. I don't want to beat her up or anything, and it's wholly. I don't know what was going on with her. It could have been her only meal she had in several days, for all I know, and somebody was just trying to take her out to her favorite restaurant just to cheer her up. I mean, we don't know the situation as to why she was there, But, you know, the family was on scene. And while I'm very sorry that she had to find out the way she found out, at the end of the day, they found her, and that was the name of the game. And thank God, it never mattered who got called first. It mattered about her being found.
Exactly. Exactly. They found her daughter, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, I hope, I mean,
but in all fairness, the mom did remove
comes
that
out and says something to law enforcement about leaving her daughter's belongings behind like that, like it was garbage.
Yeah, but in all fairness, mom did remove that post. I'm sure she probably thought it was highly, you know, that she probably took a breath and realized it was highly inappropriate.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
It was just a mistake.
Yeah, I agree. It was a mistake. I mean, these guys went across the country, and they don't have to do it. You know, they don't have to. So, but anyway, I just wanted to say those couple of points, and God bless you. God bless what you're doing. And I truly do appreciate that you're allowing people to have opinions and not.
Yeah. Well, this case deserves it because there's just so little evidence that we're all speculating here. There's no real right or wrong answer here because we know nothing.
Exactly. And it's so convoluted. I mean, we have a sheriff's or place or county that puts out a picture of Kiely supposedly in a bodysuit and whatever. And then they come out and say, well, that's not what she was wearing. She was wearing this odd future. I wrote to them. I'm like, excuse me, if you want the public to help you, help us help you. Show us this picture. You can block
Give
out
us a description. Show us the picture so we can. I have never in my life seen a missing kid where they don't want to show you a picture of her what she was last wearing. Right? I have never in my life dealt with a law enforcement agency that has a missing child and knows that she's wearing something different than the photo that they're posting, the grainy photo from a store that they're posting all over social media and in the news. And they actually have a photo of her in clothes at that party, and they won't post it so people can put their eyes on her.
Exactly. I mean, I wrote on their Twitter, they were answering other people's Twitters. They would not answer that. I'm like, this is absurd. If people, because we're people, we'll remember the last thing we see. And then, so if she was out and about, see that sweatshirt, especially that sweatshirt, it's more recognizable than a black bodysuit.
Yeah, they should have put out an exact what she was wearing that night. They acknowledged they had pictures of her at the party, and they should have released those pictures, at least one of them, to the public so we knew exactly what she was wearing to help find her. But, you know, again, hindsight's 2020. She was never walking around for us to find. She was sunk in the bottom of a lake, which is sad.
Yep. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
All right, Salty.
God bless you. You have a great day and a great weekend.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. So, guys, that was kind of it. I'm not going to be accepting any more people on panel. That was kind of the segment. You know, I feel like law enforcement really did a disservice to this family. I feel like the law enforcement is suffering a massive black eye right now on this case. You know, we gave them the benefit of the doubt with the car, which was huge. It's like, how could you make this type of horrible mistake? But then to leave all of her belongings to wash up on the shore, just to add insult to injury to the family, it's just showing that the amateur hour here in front of God and everybody, and across this country and across this world, about what not to do when dealing with a case like this. And it's sad that this beautiful, talented girl could potentially not have justice because of these types of mistakes. And it's sad. It is so sad. Thank you, Salty, for being our very newest member to the Bullhorn Betty channel and a Coffee Club member. So thank you, guys. And don't forget, you know, we will be here. We're going through this case. I promise you, I am working my tail end off right now, you know, trying to find people. I don't know if I'm going to get interviews with these people or if we can just hone in on somebody, but there's a lot of stuff here, and I really believe there's something here. So I'm going to go through it. I will try to be back here tomorrow. I do have something, I believe, in the afternoon, so I may only do one live tomorrow, and it'll be first thing in the morning. So please come back to join me for Coffee Club. Again, I'm Bullhorn Betty. I hope you enjoyed your time with me. And don't forget, be fearless, folks. If you see something, say something. Have a great day. God bless each and every one.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases, head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.